Good times, good times. By the way, if you think the whole thought of Ukraine joining NATO is one of the reasons that they attacked, try putting nuclear weapons in Poland. How you think that's going to go, guys? Not well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. The fact that they asked for him, I think there's a sense they feel like, Putin's coming.
You know what, though? As you and I were talking, out in the hall, I wouldn't put it past Trump to say something like, that's something we'd look into.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the guy in fatigue say.
Yeah.
Because if he's willing to say, nah, you know what? Let's end this thing here. Let's just say no thanks, and we'll take this 30-day and we'll carve something out, and we'll all have some peace. That's great. If not, you know what? You're right. We're not going to give any more weapons to them, but we are going to give nuclear weapons to Poland.
They asked for it for their birthday.
Of course.
I mean, how can you say no to that?
Well, you don't want to say no to that. That would be a horrible thing. Yeah. I mean, my goodness me. That would be that. You want to talk about the being on the precipice of World War III.
Yeah.
I mean, think about if they, like the Russians went to Guatemala and said, hey, we'd like to give you guys nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Cuba.
Yeah. We've already been there with that.
Right.
But that's just, woo, spicy. So much stuff to get to today. What's the latest news with Mahmoud Khalil? Because I heard that there was another press conference.
Yeah, apparently there was a press conference. I haven't seen anything on it yet, but the big thing is that apparently a bunch of protesters purported to be Jewish have basically sat down in Trump Tower, basically, quote unquote, taken it over. They're being removed right now by police wearing shirts that say, not in our name.
Yeah, there's a lot of Jewish kids Jewish people tend to be rather liberal, and a lot of Jewish kids are not, they don't want to be attacked for being Jewish, and they're not a fan of Palestine, but they don't like the current government over there. And they want peace as much as anybody else. And I heard a lot of young Jewish students yesterday saying, and a lot of, they're mostly Americans. I'm going to be 100%. They're mostly Jewish students who are Americans. It's not like this is, these aren't kids that, because I've talked to a couple at ASU right after it happened and how scared they were. And they, it's a different feel. It is. It's a different feel. But I don't, I was surprised yesterday because as I read more and more about it, heard more and more about it, that guy wasn't even at the hearing, which I found was weird. I thought he wasn't even on Zoom? Nope. So he wasn't even on Zoom, and this case is going to go for a while. I just want to let you guys know that. This is going to be a very interesting thing, and you're going to hear people say this about freedom of speech. Once again, due process is important. It is not about freedom of speech. It is not. Pushing propaganda, pushing hate, spreading stuff from a hate group, a terrorist organization, and potentially, and you've got to prove these things, threatening Jewish students and potentially starting things in the campus that led to damage and or riots. That is different than speech. You crossed a line there. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. The budget. Will we ever get a budget? Will we? I hope we don't. And I'm going to tell you why. It's mostly an issue, I think, that the Democrats are going to worry about a lot more. Because the budget itself, which I look at it, it's a CR. It's not a real budget the way we think about it. But there is a reason that maybe you sit out and go, I hope Schumer does nothing.
At least 7 Democrats would need to join with what we presume to be most, if not all, Republicans to get this passed. But because there have been no meaningful overtures to Senate Democrats, they're rejecting this point blank. It remains to be seen if that position holds for the rest of the week, or rather the remaining 2 days of the week. But because of what Chuck Schumer said yesterday, rejecting this House GOP proposal outright, it puts us on path, or on alert, I should say, for the very serious potential of a shutdown.
So what would happen in a shutdown? And I've seen several. I touched a bit about it yesterday. This week I'm filling in for the Chicks on the Right. If you know who they are, Mock and Daisy. They're really big, influencers. And we were chatting a bit about this yesterday. We got into it a little bit more today. The president, if they were to go, we're going to a shutdown, he has the right to kind of pick and choose certain areas that get to stay open. So, and Hugh Hewitt brought it up too, said, look, he could leave all the parks open, make sure they're staffed. He could do certain things that don't hurt the public. Not the public, and said you're still getting your checks, all those things. That's the stuff that's necessary. But you could almost do a test run and go, okay, let's hey Elon, strip this thing down. Let's see what we need and what we don't need. So if you're the Democrats, you're thinking, well, hold on a second. He's got the opportunity to do what? Strip this thing down? Oh, we don't want that. Oh, no, we don't want that. And it's usually about the blame. And let's be real, Republicans. How many times have you said, let him shut it down? We don't care. We don't need it. But it's not about whether or not you want to shut down. You don't want the blame. You're fine with the shutdown. You just don't want the blame. Well, maybe this time you put it to the test for a little bit. And I think Schumer is between a rock and a hard place because I think he knows that. There's already one no for the Republicans. Let's see. Who would that be? Anybody? Oh, yeah, Rand Paul. And he hasn't gone after Rand Paul. Like, he's still going after Massey, for God's sakes. But he hasn't gone after Rand Paul. Maybe there's a limit to the amount of politicians you can attack in one state. But Rand's already a hard no on this. So you're going to need some. But some Democrats are like, I don't know if we really want to do this. I'd like to have some compromise. Well, some of this is stuff you guys already passed. This is nothing new. They just carved out a little bit more and gave a little bit more over there. By and large, it's the exact same thing.
When you go to these town halls and you hear not just Democrats, but Republicans across the country outraged by what Elon Musk is doing, they're asking Democrats to have some leverage. And whether you like it or not, this is the leverage that we have.
Which is, you think you've got the leverage, Seth Moulton, of the budget, the CR? Is that what you think? Because if you think you're going to get blamed for it, or it's going to work against you, where they might say, all right, we're going to keep just the essential, and that's it. And we're going to see if this thing can run. And if people don't feel any kind of disruption or pain, that's not a win. That's a struggle for them in a big way. Of course, we'd like to see a great partisan bill, and it would be awesome. Is that going to happen? No, because everybody worries about who gets the credit.
If they want to put forward a partisan bill that with extremist policies like enabling Elon Musk, then they're not going to get many Democratic votes.
Oh, Elon. He is the bane of their existence. It's crazy. We're going to talk a little bit more about the craziness, including a crazy, like watching some of these news things, because I'll watch some of this stuff, and the fact that they've got video, and the fact that it's like MSNBC is lying to your face while juxtaposing their own position because they want to get something out there that goes against Elon and Trump is very fascinating. Just when you think there's no way you guys could be dumber, you reach and you do it. The economy, though, kids, that is a big deal. It's always going to be a big deal. And I bring that up because of the new study out about how bad people are living right now, paycheck to paycheck. And it is, I've heard from a lot of Republicans. I even hear from some of you who are 100% behind what Trump is trying to do. At the same time, many of you say, look, my checking account has an expiration date. So if things get a little wonky, that's not why we wanted him here. We wanted him to do a lot of things. And I know he's got a vision for way out there, but I can't live like this. And I've heard from a lot of people. And some of you are like, no way, man, I'm behind 100%. Great, I am too. But when you realize that according to a new study, more than half of the average American paycheck is gone, accounted for before they get it. That's before necessities. So we're talking about mortgage or rent or carpet, those things there that are fixed all the time. And on average, they go near between 3 and 5 days where they virtually have no money in their account. And 31% of people are paying their bills late, which is, man, that's why people brought Trump in. Fantastic. I'm 100% behind it. Let's do something about it. But it is still the economy. And when you see stuff like this, you realize how bad, Trump came in. The economy, it's funny. Our economy for us wasn't great. For the rest of the world, they would have took it in a heartbeat. But for us, we were frustrated. The high cost of everything, the frustration we had with getting things, the fact that wages weren't rising. But when you start seeing stuff like this, and remember, pre-COVID, you had a little left over after your check where you could save. So you weren't living paycheck to paycheck. You could take a little bit from each paycheck, put it aside. Then COVID hit and you got a little bit more money, but everything got more expensive. All of a sudden, you got closer to paycheck to paycheck. Then you got to paycheck to paycheck. Now your paycheck, if you get paid every 2 weeks, you got about 11 days worth of money. So you got about 3 days on average where there is a struggle for money. And that's the number one thing still, as we talk about. Number one thing, period. A lot of stuff to get to today. Malinoff's in for the one and only Bell on vacation.
Yes.
So you're here in the morning.
I am.
And you're here now in the afternoon.
Yes, I got home for about an hour. Had some Chipotle, came all the way back.
Oh, I love Chipotle. What'd you get?
Steak burrito.
Oh, good.
Fajitas in there, too.
Did you put real hot sauce on it?
Dan, that hot sauce they have.
Well, I have to eat it on the drive here, so I cannot take that gamble.
That's a bold adventure, dude.
That is a bold adventure. More daring men would, Jeff, is what we're saying.
Well, I like my pants non-hot sauced.
I really don't care. Nobody's seen you, dude. That's why we're on the radio, for God's sakes.
I had a buddy, man. He worked mornings back in the 90s, and he never learned his lesson. Every day he would get in his car, put his coffee cup between his legs, and every morning spilled it.
Like it sounds like he did it intentionally.
And it's like, dude, get you a cup holder.
No.
Get a cup holder. You can put it up on your window because at the time, back in the early 90s, not a lot of cars had.
No, not like now. That's one of the ways I pick my cars. I go in, I go, how do they have any cup holders they have? It will fit all the crap that I have?
Yeah. Remember when they came with ashtrays?
I was looking at a TikTok or something last night, and it was like one of those Gen X TikToks, and they're like things that people will never remember. Remember when your car used to have 2 keys? One to get in and one to open up the trunk?
Yes.
Right? And one of the other things that people will never know, ashtrays in the back of the car behind the seat and in the front of the car or in the car doors.
Yeah.
That was the future.
Still is.
Still is. We're going to go back to it, man.
I used to watch old cigarette ads for fun, those like ones before they spanned it. I watched them on YouTube. Those are the craziest advertisements you will ever see in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they kept saying how healthy it was or like how delicious it was.
Oh, it was delicious.
It was healthy because it was a lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they lied to you. And the other reason it was healthy is because they felt, well, look how thin everybody is.
That's right.
That new tip filter for that same tobacco taste.
If you want that smooth drag that will help you get lung cancer, Marlboro is it.
Yeah, you had to be horseback.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Wearing a big old cowboy hat.
Oh, good times,
I
man.
take it your parents' cars smelled like cigarettes.
Oh, hell yeah. Are you kidding me? My mom, there's a picture of my mother holding a screwdriver and smoking a cigarette while I was in her belly.
My goodness.
That's no lie, man.
What was the screwdriver for?
No, not a screwdriver. Like she had vodka
a drink.
and
a drink.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
We're going to have to educate here. Malinoff's going to scare the crap out of Dan by the time we're finished with him.
I'm going to walk in his show on like Monday morning, screwdriver in one hand, cigarette in the other.
That's right. Let's do this, Dan. Are you ready to get this thing going?
Dan will
You
say,
want
where's
one?
mine? He will. Dan will say, where's mine?
Oh, good times, kids. Oh, so much crap to get to. We got a lot of stuff. And it's not just crap. It's fun crap. It's crazy crap. We'll talk some tariffs. We'll talk some Mahmoud as well. And Disney, going woke, going broke. They may have said, we're setting the record with this one. This one's great. And as we all know, first thing, Sarah, I'm sitting there, Ken walks in, he goes, you got any more crazy audio? I'm like, dude, do I have audio for you
Yes,
today?
sir.
You're
Yes,
going to
sir.
love this. So a lot of stuff to get to. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. All right, guys, let's talk about Rough Greens. If you love your animals like I love my animals, Rough Greens is going to help deliver for your dog like never before. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. One scoop a day. It's going to help your dogs. I want you to try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens now. It is so easy. You go to roughgreens.com, use code Chad. They're going to send you a Jumpstart trial bag for $20, and they want you to take the 90-day challenge. One scoop a day. This thing has living enzymes in it. Over the 90 days, your dog's health is going to improve like you cannot believe. From their skin and their fur, to their mobility, to their energy levels, their immune system, their digestive tract, and you're going to see it over a 90-day period. It is incredible. So try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens today. All they ask you to do is cover the cost of shipping. It's a $20 value. A few bucks goes a long way. And you don't have to change any food. You don't have to do anything crazy. Just one scoop every morning. They'll love the taste. You'll love what it does for them. Go to roughgreens.com, RUFFgreens.com. Use my code Chad, roughgreens.com, code Chad.
All right, Whites Creek Pike is still shut down in Jolton, just north of Jackman Road, where the Highway Patrol's investigating a semi that crashed, spilled a bunch of diesel, and then exploded in the flames. We understand there was at least one fatality there. And if your travels take you east of Nashville, keep this in mind right now. In Monterey, Putnam County, we've got a crash blocking the right lane of 40 eastbound. And Russian President Vladimir Putin says he agrees in principle with the U.S.-Ukraine 30-day ceasefire offer. But I'll tell you more at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And he says that in fatigues.
In fatigue, full fatigue.
Wrestling a bear.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him when he does his hockey stuff?
I haven't seen the hockey
So
stuff.
every year for his birthday, because he loves hockey, he plays like an all-star game against the best Russian hockey players. If you guys don't know,
Oh, I knew about that. Yeah,
Russia's outside of Canada. They've got the best hockey players in the world, like
Pretty
Ovechkin and
dadgum
everything.
good, yeah.
And he scores like 12 goals. It's very much like Kim Jong Un. Like it's like he played golf once, he had 12 hole-in-ones. I'm
That's
sure
right.
he did.
Yeah.
That story always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Because he sliced it or he
No.
He
topped
never
the
even
ball.
golfed.
I know, he topped the ball. He probably didn't even make contact half the time.
Boys, he's just that good.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have to. He never even golfed.
Or do you think a golfer golfed for him and he just took the credit for it?
The stuff about that place and the stories of essentially the great grandfather, was it Kim Jong Il or whatever, was born on a mountain and raised by a unicorn and a panda bear. It's amazing. It's incredible. I'm like, God, I mean, it's a death cult.
Yeah. Have you seen
Yes.
that? Have you seen that video of the funeral of?
Oh,
I
they're
forget
all crying?
Yeah, they'll die if they don't. That's the crazy part.
That's the thing. You
They
gotta
have
really
to
show your
cry,
emotion.
and if you're not in if you're not sobbing, if you're not in this huge aura of mourning, then you will die.
God, that is just.
Remember when Dennis Rodman went over there?
Oh, God, that was great.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
was
Dennis,
nuts.
if anyone was going to go there, crazy basketball player, of course it'd be Dennis Rodman.
That was just. You remember that? He was like, of all the weird things, like.
That's still his buddy. He still calls him his friend.
Oh, yeah. He's my friend. So, okay, Dennis. Okay.
All right, Dennis.
Yeah, that's good. Are you still hanging out with Carmen Electra?
Oh,
She too old for you? She must be in her 40s now. Have you seen Carmen? She hasn't aged well.
Really? I haven't seen her in a
She lived
long
hard.
time.
to Google.
To Google we had.
Yeah.
To the machine.
Yep, I'm heading there.
I will say the whole death cult is amazing. But, if you're... it's kind of the same thing in Russia. Not as bad. Nothing is as bad as... the insanity of... what's it called, of North Korea. I watched the thing where they had a Doctors Without Borders went there to do cataract surgery on people's eyes. They went from being blind to seeing. They never once thanked the doctor. They all walked over to the picture of the dear leader and cried and bowed to it and thanked him.
Wow.
Well, when your life is on the line, you're going to do some things.
Yeah. That is just insane.
People call Trump a dictator. It's like Exhibit A,
You
people.
don't even know what a real dictator's
Right.
like. Nobody knows what a real dictator's like. No, we have no idea. Oh, yeah, it is. It's Elon Musk and them. No, it's not. It is not. My goodness me. So much stuff to get to. We've got some Trump stuff. We've got some more stuff on. I can't wait to hear what's going on with, why the Pooter must be enjoying what's going on. This battle's going to be interesting between the two because this is a battle of wits. We'll talk a little bit about that. Mahmoud, Disney's woke adventure is about ready to take place, and we've got some audio from that, which I know especially Ken's going to love.
I'm going to dig it, dude.
Big time.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, we've learned at least one person died in that fiery crash involving a semi that spilled diesel fuel there on Whites Creek Pike in Jolton. Whites Creek Pike still shut down near Jackman Road. The Highway Patrol investigating. We're also tracking the potential for severe weather overnight, Friday into Saturday, and then again Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Russian President Vladimir Putin says he agrees in principle with the U.S.-Ukraine 30-day ceasefire offer, but says he wants a long-term peace plan and removal of what he says are root causes of the fighting in Ukraine. Meanwhile, President Trump hosting NATO's Secretary General at the White House today. Same time, Poland is asking the U.S. for nuclear weapons. Over at the Pentagon, Luis Martinez has more.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered a department-wide review of standards, not just fitness standards, but grooming standards, body composition standards. And this is all because he says he wants to look at essentially whether the U.S. military is fit for duty, whether they will be able to meet the challenges of any adversary around the world.
Yeah, Hegseth says he wants fit, not fat. A federal judge on Thursday ordering the Trump administration to reinstate thousands of probationary employees who were fired last month from a half dozen federal agencies. Those include Veteran Affairs, Agriculture, Defense, Energy, Interior, and Treasury. And right now in New York, protesters claiming to be Jewish being removed from Trump Tower, where they're demanding former Columbia University student and anti-Israel protest organizer Mahmoud Halil be released from ICE detention, while a federal judge weighs whether the Trump administration can deport him. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
United Structural Systems, what are you waiting for, guys? You worried about maybe what's happening? Maybe those pipe bursts when it got cold. Now we got rain coming again. It could get ugly. You want to make sure everything, every nook, every crack is protected and that there's nothing going on down there. United Structural Systems is ready to help. The 30 years experience in basement, crawl space, waterproofing basement with wall stabilization, foundation repair, you name it, they do it all. So they're going to come over, and first, they're not going to sell you anything that you don't need. They're not going to be one of those things, well, you really need one of these things. Nah, it's not about that. It's not going to cost you anything. They're going to do you right. That's why they've been in business so long, 30,000 happy customers, and you can be one of them. If you're worried about things like mold or wood rot or any kind of structural issues, foundation, call USS today. Call 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or check them out online at USSTN.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Man, I've seen all the chaos going on out there with the students. It's ugly. By the way, did you guys look up Carmen Electra?
She's all right.
I can't find any recent image of her.
Well, my buddy, Jim, you're watching, Jim Kennedy, Kennedy Institute of Public Policy Research. He just texted me. He goes, she's got an OnlyFans.
Does she really?
Yeah.
I mean, does that surprise anybody?
Are you ready for this? This is my favorite thing. How much do you love the Tushy? Scale 1 to 10. Dollars.
I bet it's like an insane price. It's probably like $50 a month or some ridiculous subscription service. They can charge some crazy middle-aged divorced men make some serious money off that.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Divorced men? Heck, there's married men going on that, dude.
Probably your stepdad.
Good Lord.
It feels like something that would be on there, right? You ever hear those stories? It's like, what was that girl that was like, yeah, my biggest customer I found out was my stepdad. I'm like, oh God. That's a hard no.
That's just like some family issues I know nothing about because I have a healthy family relationship.
Yeah, okay. That makes you feel better. That's if you can, you do it. I know people are like, I would never do it. Yeah, you would. You would absolutely do it. If you could make $100,000 a week, you're not saying no to that. It's a tough. I'm talking about the average person. Some people are like, I would never do that. Please. You know why we say that's gross or whatever? It's because we don't want to spend the money and because nobody's paying us.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can't make that money. If we can get a paycheck for $2.5 million for like every 3 months for it.
Oh, well, I've been considering, clipping my toenails and shaving the hair off of them.
That's right. I like that.
Putting a ring on the pinky and
Ken,
seeing what we can get.
See what we can get.
Ken. My friend, please.
We'll call his. It'll just say spare change.
So I'm not podcasting this segment of the show.
Yeah,
it'll be called Little Fella.
Speaking of weird step, did you guys hear that? Did you hear the story? You must have heard the story, Ken, in Connecticut. That freaky story. If you guys haven't heard, check this out. Talk about creepy.
The prosecutor in Connecticut calls the case something out of a horror movie. A woman accused of locking her stepson in his bedroom for more than 20 years with little food or water. Authorities say to get out, the man used hand sanitizer and paper to set his room on fire so he'd be rescued. According to court documents, the 32-year-old said he was locked in his room since he was 11. Police say he was emaciated, weighing just 68 pounds, claiming he drank from the toilet because he was given only 2 glasses of water per day.
68 pounds. He's 31 years old.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And she is denied it. And her attorney came out and said, it's all a bunch of baloney. He's lied. He was living his best life.
How can you deny that when he weighs 68 pounds?
I don't. She said, first of all, what happened to Pops? Because you're the stepmother. So is he dead? That hasn't been sussed out what happened. But he used, what did he say? He used hand sanitizer and something else to start the fire. And he said he didn't care if he died. This was enough. 68 pounds. Inside of a room. He only was allowed to come out and do chores. And they had to go back in. And he said all he thought about was food because he never, imagine coming out of a house after, 20 years and like what the world has become.
There's another story about a recent mother who's killed her son like by sitting on him. Have you heard that story?
Oh, God, I heard that.
Yeah.
There's
some terrible mothers out there.
There's some terrible. There's a lot of terrible mothers. There's a lot of terrible people out there. Elon's not one of them. I like Elon. He's interesting. Don't get me wrong. He's not stupid. When I hear people, he's stupid, it's like, really? This is Rep. John Lawson, who is from Connecticut. Not a shocker. He's a Democrat. He's going to act for you here. He's going to act angry.
Where's the independence of the committee? Where's the legislature? We're an equal branch of government. And you start off with a blather, and yet look at the empty seats here. Where's Elon Musk? I'm sure he's a genius and is a very credible person because of the wealth he's accumulated. But that does not put him above the law or the responsibility to come before this committee in this Congress.
He's very upset. Sir, take a deep breath and go.
If he's so great, if these plans and all the fraud and abuse that he's found are so eminent, why isn't he here explaining it? You know why. Because he's out to privatize Social Security.
There we go. There we go. Sir, why are you yelling?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah. And you're hurting the microphone. Obviously, you guys do not know microphone etiquette. That right there, though, is just the best. I love that stuff because the anger that people have, none of it's real. It's like that guy yesterday that appeared with Tom Homan, the guy that's running to be, I think he's going to be trying to be mayor. He's number 2 right now, currently, as it sits in the race to be mayor of New York. And he's screaming supposedly at Tom Homan, and the sheriffs are all there because Tom was in New York. And he's looking at the camera side-eye. Tom Homan is nowhere to be found. There's nobody there. Just the police standing there. It's all an act. It is all theatrics. I'm not saying they're not people that are mad, because there's plenty of people that are upset and mad. They don't really know why. They couldn't explain everything. But I look at this and I think to myself, the over-dramatics, and then you get to Social Security should have been privatized for my generation 20-some years ago. That should have happened. It didn't. And the reason government would never allow Social Security to be privatized is simple. If you privatize Social Security, you take away the money that they need for other things. They need all that money always coming in. Yes, paying people, but doing other things. They need. We only borrowed from it once. It is nonstop. All of these companies, all of these countries, all these cities, cities and states, they all do the same thing. Given the opportunity, if they have to dip into a certain fund, they will. They don't want to give up control. They don't. And you've seen that more and more. Never has it been more on display, ever, than it is right now in what people in the Democratic Party want, which is they want all of the control they can possibly get. Federalized. Everything. One big thing. This is what it should be. Here it is. This is power. This isn't about money and waste. The less money that's there, the less power you have. Kinda. The less that you get rid of these people, the less power you have. Kinda. The less the federal government matters. Yeah. The federal government was never meant to be the end-all to be-all. Our founding fathers didn't want that. It was meant to be something you did, then you went home eventually. You didn't turn it into a career. You didn't show up in 1992 and you're still serving. You didn't show up like, Biden did, when he was 29 and still serving until your 80s. That was never what it was supposed to be. It was a civic duty you went and did. The Democrats want to control power. And for all the stuff about, Trump wants to destroy democracy. Trump's trying to go back to what it should have always been, which is more states' rights. The more that states can control their destiny, the more there's competition amongst the states, even though we're all working together, we're all the same country, the better it is for everybody. And some people just don't get it. But this is theatrics amongst theatrics. And I sit there and I laugh and I think, my God, I don't even know if I could do that with a straight face. I'd be like laughing halfway through. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this, you guys. I can't be that mad. Here is Trump talking a bit about the Democrats.
But who would want these things? And everything's transgender. Everybody transgender. That's all you hear about. Now, that's why we won the election in record numbers. But very importantly, now it is what it is. The Democrats should get with us and come up with good tax policy.
No, they don't. That would be great. Good tax policy. No more wackiness. No more lunacy. Common sense. Let's get rid of the labels, man. Let's just be us. Let's have a little fun. They can't. They can't do it. They can't because it's about centralizing control. The beauty of our republic is each state is its own fiefdom. It's not about, that's why you can never get rid of the Electoral College, because then what you'll have is coast running the entire country. Small group of people running the entire country, dictating things. We can't have that. We can't. And it's great that I see us going back to more states' rights. And that's why, like, immigration was a perfect example of why immigration is one of the things the federal government does. Like, this is your jam. You do this. And, well, Biden didn't do anything. We recognize that. And Trump, with the stroke of a pen and hey, guys, remember those laws we used to enforce? We're going to enforce them again. Okay. Dead stop. Dead stop. Trump meeting with NATO, which is interesting. As we were talking earlier, if you guys haven't heard, apparently, Putin is, in principle, kind of agreed to everything for the 30-day ceasefire, but he did it in his full fatigues, which makes you go, oh, okay. And then you've got the likes of Poland asking for nuclear weapons, which I don't think would be a good idea. Somebody said that's a great bargaining chip. It is. But if your goal is to not push, if that's the goal, do you really want to do that? And Putin wants a way out. He knows he cannot do this forever. He knows he can't.
The other big issue, of course, is just the NATO alliance. The president has pushed NATO countries to up their own defense spending as it relates to their GDP, to contribute more of defense spending. And the president also doesn't want to see United States forces over there as part of a Ukraine peacekeeping. That this should be something that European countries do, and also NATO takes the lead on.
Which they should. And yes, we're part of NATO, but if, we would handle the issues here, we would ask them. Now, if there's a war and they attack Poland and others, then we all get involved. That's one thing. But it's that close to you. You need to pay attention and be the lead on this because it matters that much to you. We're not asking you guys to come fight the fentanyl fight. We're not asking you guys to come here to do that. No, nor should we. But we are saying is take the lead. We're not going to abandon anybody. Because I think having NATO is a good thing, especially with the way things are with China, the uncertainty on the globe. It is a good thing to have. Because remember, NATO isn't just about a war between countries. They fought hard with us in a war on terror as well. And that's something that I think people forget, that it's not just about like country versus country. Speaking of terror, we're going to talk a little bit about Mahmoud Khalil because it is getting spicy, guys. I am looking at some of the pictures and videos of I guess that's Trump Tower. And these people are getting dragged out of there. There's not a messing around in some of these situations. It's not Colombia, guys. You're not going to be able to stay here in perpetuity. Oh, my goodness me. This guy has become like a superstar martyrdom person, and we'll find out what the next. I don't even know when the next hearing is. His wife spoke yesterday. His lawyers have spoke. This is going to be something very interesting to watch because it's not. They're arguing freedom of speech. That's not what this is about. Talk about that, bunch of other stuff, and Disney's giant mess, kids. Wow, is this thing stanky. Talk about that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch gold, uncertainty in the market. You don't want that. You don't know what's going to happen. We like stability, right? This is one of those things. Gold is important. I want you to text the word Benson to 989898 today. My buddies over at Birch are going to get you out an investor kit. Let you take a look at why gold is a perfect place to diversify what you're building. It's about a safety net. It's about the, oh my God, what if there's a zombie apocalypse or other things, or inflation takes off, or the weakening dollar, or a trade war. What happens then? Birch Gold's there to help. It's a great way to diversify your portfolio, and they're going to show how easy it is to do to move over your 401k, your IRA, all of those things, and have it backed by gold. Text the word Benson now to 989898 today. Get that free investor guide They're not going to high pressure sell you. They're going to do none of that. They're just going to get it out to you, let you know. And if you have any questions, you can go from there. Text the word Benson to 989898 for Birch Gold.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
All right, drivers, Whites Creek Pike in Jolton still closed near Jackman Road where a semi crashed and there was an explosion and diesel fuel spilled. We understand at least one person lost their life in that crash. We'll tell you what Vladimir Putin thinks about this U.S.-Ukraine 30-day ceasefire offer. And President Trump is hosting NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House. You got to hear what Rutte has to say about Trump's leadership and getting member states to increase financial obligations. That's coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So, Snow White's coming out. There was a lot of controversy around this movie. If you guys have heard the movie Snow White.
Of course.
So they're remaking it. And it started with Rachel Ziegler and this movie's written, it's not about the prince or love. It's about me being a strong character and blah, blah. I mean, the stuff that she says is insane. And she has basically insulted everybody that worked on the movie, everybody who was supposedly seeing the movie. The promotional events were supposed to have a ton of events this last week. They canceled them all. They spent over $300 million on this movie, not counting budget for advertising, pushing it close to almost $500 million. And Gail Gadot, for those of you who don't know, Gail Gadot, she is Israeli, served in their military. She is very pro-Israel. A lot of the other people on this are not. So that was one of the other issues. And then, of course, let's not forget the midget thing. We can't leave that out. Peter Dinklage, who apparently is the only one who's allowed to speak for the little people, said it was stupid and it was dwarfs and it was horrible. And so what ended up happening, they went and CGI'd everything. Now, I could play you some of the trailer. It's awful. Or I can give you chat music. This is where somebody takes the comments and puts it to music like it's a rock opera. Ladies and gentlemen, have some fun.
Disney's next step is going to be making Rapunzel fall. I can hear Walt Disney's frozen head screaming in the Disney fall. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the bitchiest of them all? Mirror, mirror on the wall, whose acting career is about to fall. Rachel Zegler is her name. This monstrosity will be her only fame. Show this to my friend before we skydive, then he jumped out the plane with no parachute. That mirror is lying. It probably came from Temu, coming to a theater near you. Move. The dwarfs look like they came from Chernobyl. This movie isn't releasing, it's escaping. This makes the B movie look like a Vincent van Gogh painting. Thank you, Disney. You're the world's best at destroying childhood dreams. Is Disney aware that Snow White is supposed to be more beautiful than the evil queen? Evil queen.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. No one's gonna watch this movie at all.
Weird.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Just how far will Disney fall?
Weird.
Oh, my Lord. One of them, and there's so many of them, one of them says, this is the first time you'll ever root for the apple.
Oh, my goodness. Accurate, but goodness.
Kids, happy Thursday. It's Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
It is 1 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are tracking the potential for severe weather starting tomorrow night into Saturday morning, then Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. Meanwhile, Whites Creek Pike in Jolton still closed near Jackman Road where a semi has crashed. There was an explosion and diesel fuel was spilled. We understand at least one person died there. Got another crash reported by police, 65 southbound near Trinity Lane. And then downtown, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound after Shelby Avenue. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Vladimir Putin says he agrees in principle with the U.S.-Ukraine 30-day ceasefire. But the Russian president indicates it's going to take a long-term peace plan that also addresses removal of what the Russian president claims are root causes of the fighting. Meanwhile, Trump is hosting NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House, where they'll be talking trade and security. Secretary Rutte expressing gratitude for what he told reporters is President Trump's leadership in getting member states to increase their financial obligation between Trump's first term to his second term.
What happened the last couple of weeks is really staggering. The Europeans committing to a package of 800 billion defense spending. The Germans now, potentially up to $500 billion extra in defense spending. And then, of course, you had Keir Starmer here, the British Prime Minister, and others, all committing to much higher defense spending. We're not there. We need to do more, but I really want to work together with you in a run-up to the The Hague Summit to make sure that we will have a NATO which is really reinvigorated under your leadership, and we are getting there.
By the way, their meeting comes as Poland is requesting the U.S. provide them nuclear weapons to deter a Russian invasion. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth going to make some changes, ordering a department-wide review to make sure the U.S. fighting men and women are fit enough to handle any situation around the world. As he puts it, fit, not fat. Also, grooming is something he wants to look at, according to Luis Martinez.
One of the grooming standards is it says including beards. Now, that's very interesting because the only people that actually wear beards are special operations forces when they're out in the field or when exemptions are made for religious observances. After issuing this memo out to the force, Hegseth pushed out something on X, which essentially he said our troops will be fit, not fat. Our troops will look sharp, not sloppy, and we seek only quality, not quotas.
Another judge getting in the way of the Trump administration's effort to cut the federal workforce.
The judge says that they didn't follow the proper process, that they've unlawfully terminated these workers because they've said that this was for performance reasons. He said that in a lot of cases, they were not terminated for performance reasons, that they didn't follow the process established in federal law.
And police have been removing protesters supporting Mahmoud Halil from Trump Tower this morning. Hundreds of what are reported to be Jewish New Yorkers plopping down in the lobby, chanting, wearing shirts that say, "Not in our name," demanding that former Columbia University student and anti-Israel protest organizer Halil be released from ICE detention. And an investigation's underway in Waterbury, Connecticut, after authorities say they found evidence that a man was being held hostage by his own stepmother for more than 20 years. He allegedly started a fire in order to get firefighters to the home where they say they found this grown man in his 30s weighing only 68 pounds. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
A Homeland Security report obtained by ABC charged.
So, 98 arrests, 120 plus protesters stormed Trump Tower's lobby. Demonstrators demand release. I'm thinking, no, it's probably what's going to happen on this one. No, you're not going to get the release of Mahmoud Khalil. And yes, he does deserve due process. Due process is important. You can't just throw him out of the country because he whether you like it or not, and I know somebody get mad, whether you like it or not, he has certain rights. And due process is one of them. He has 19 lawyers. Do you guys know he has 19 lawyers? 19 lawyers. On top of that, he wasn't allowed to speak to his lawyers. They were supposed to, within 12 hours, he was supposed to speak to his lawyers, and that did not happen. One of the other things that was interesting is he wasn't even at the hearing yesterday.
Mahmoud Khalil was not here in court. He's in an immigration detention facility in Louisiana, 1,000 miles from New York, where he was pulled off the street, his attorneys say, by federal immigration agents simply because he was advocating for Palestinians. The government says he's a national security threat.
And that's what they got to prove. Do I think it's going to be hard to prove? Judging by what I've seen. Now, let's remember, guilt by association doesn't make you guilty. Yes, Jeff, you look like you want to say something. Malinoff.
Oh, no, I'm just, I've heard so many sides of this. I'm just like, I hate that he's getting attention because he kind of wants this. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it totally brings attention. And I'm sure while he wanted attention, being snatched off the street with your wife 8 months pregnant and then put in Louisiana far away from your home, probably not that kind of attention.
Yeah.
You know, I see Ken in there going, no, probably not that kind of attention. Yeah, but
yeah,
I don't know what to believe in anything anymore. Like, as far as, do I know that I think he believes all those things? Yes. Can I definitively say? No, but I think he's done enough that shows and spoke enough about things that shows that, yeah, well, I know the beliefs he holds, but are there Jewish students coming out saying this guy did this? Are there Jewish students coming out said he threatened me, he tried to beat me or whatever? Those are the things you're going to have to prove. And when you do that, the thing that's really happening here too is college campuses, Columbia is beyond embarrassed. Remember, this started last week when they lost $400 million of federal money. And then this happened, and this brought all the attention, and now you've got people storming the Trump Towers, but on top of that, you've got their school once again being the eye of stupidity, which the last thing they want is that. Who in God's name would send their kid there right now? Who would do that? And I think
not for that money.
No, not for. We talked about that yesterday. What was it? It was $350,000 for 4 years.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to college, my dad was like, I was scared when he sent you to college, you would come back a liberal.
What college you go to?
I went to the University of Arizona. It wasn't as bad, but it was during Trump versus Hillary, and everyone and their mother was all about Hillary Clinton at my school.
Well, yeah. Well, for the you guys know, like Phoenix is very bluish. It's purplish.
Yeah. Well, schools in general are blue now.
But Tucson is pretty liberal.
Yeah.
Comparatively. Tucson. We call it Tucson.
I remember vividly at one of my journalism classes, this girl was so excited about voting for Hillary, and I wasn't very into politics back then. Even I knew, I was like, she's the most crooked woman on the planet.
Yeah, no doubt.
But they don't see that. They saw gender.
That's all they see.
Yeah.
So
I honestly almost voted for Trump out of spite of her.
Out of spite of her.
The single person.
Like, I'm not even paying attention to any of this, but I might vote against you just so I could cancel you out.
They pushed me to the right. You can thank those crazy liberals who couldn't handle the fact that someone had a different opinion and started assaulting people.
Yeah.
That pushed me to the right.
And that's a lot of what this is. You know, I heard Ben Shapiro talking about this. And, look, Ben he's a lot of things, right? The Daily Wire and all this kind of stuff. And he used to be heard on this station. And Ben's got his podcast, and everybody likes it when he destroys the college kids. It's funny. But the reality is you think about how many times you've seen a story where Ben Shapiro shows up at a college and they've got to have extra security for him. Like, what is he? Well, he could hurt somebody. Who's Ben going to hurt? Out of curiosity.
Oh, someone's going to hurt him.
Yes.
They're going to attack the guy.
Yeah.
The tiny little 5'6"
He is.
guy.
Yeah. I've met Ben on a few occasions. He's not throwing down. I'm not really worried that he's got some sort of ninja powers that we don't know about.
Ninja powers.
That would be funny.
So let me suggest that as a legislature, your chief job is to ensure that my taxpayer dollars in this state go toward making sure that people like me and people with whom I disagree get to speak in places like college campuses, and not toward regulating what speech you find good and what speech you find bad, because it's a really dangerous business, and there's speech I don't like, there's speech you don't like, but if we can't agree that there is a difference between speech and violence, we're not going to be able to have a free state, let alone a free country.
And that is the difference. See, their argument is you're taking away his speech. That's not the argument. You have free speech. When you cross the line and you start destroying things, you start advocating for the downfall of America, the West. I mean, we can go on and on for the stuff that was out there. When you start pushing and scaring and threatening people because, think about this. You're a Jewish student and you're being told you shouldn't wear your yarmulke. You shouldn't wear your yarmulke because you could be in serious trouble. If you've got a Star of David, hide it. Those kind of things. And that is insane. And I say juxtapose that with any other thing, a gender, any other, minority group. Do you want to know? I said this today, and this is the reality of all these students who are out there screaming and yelling about this. It's honestly, it's about the color of skin. If the Jewish people, and by the way, I found out I was Jewish about 3 or 4 years ago. We did one of those DNA tests. And I was like, oh, no, I'm already all tatted up because, you're not supposed to be tatted. But it is about the color of the skin in so many ways, because what's going on in Yemen has been going on for years. What's going on in Syria right now between the Christians getting killed and the likes of the Muslims that aren't the right kind of Muslim. Remember, are you Sharia? If you're not the right kind, and what's going on in Africa. But there's it's all about who's stronger. It's all about oppression. It's the oppression Olympics is what it is. If the Jews, right, if Israel, if everybody in Israel was, looked like people in Palestine, because remember, that's really what a lot of this is about, you wouldn't really have the same kind of freaking out over this. But that's what you get. Because this is what it's all about for so many of these people. It has nothing to do with the reality of the situation on the ground. Palestine and all this stuff. This stuff is just a means to whine, to bitch, to moan, a means to throw a fit, a way to scream and yell at the West and the oppressors, all while going to school that costs, as we said, $80,000 plus a year, which is crazy. And it's more than just this. I mean, all these things tie in together. What happened? Remember Brian Thompson, the CEO of the what healthcare was it? Was it health? I forget which healthcare it was. Brian Thompson. But remember him getting killed? All these things tie together. It's down with the West, down with capitalism, down with all of it. These are all the same things. It's about oppression. Yes, sir.
I have the health insurance. He was about United Healthcare.
United Healthcare. Well, check this out. You want to hear this? This is crazy. Not being talked about, and it should be.
The Homeland Security report obtained by ABC News said individuals driven by financial grievances are taking Thompson's murder as inspiration for making threats against government and public safety officials, particularly if they're perceived as contributing to economic strain. Authorities noticed one rather alarming post saying these officials and executives deserve to be Luigi'd, a reference to Luigi Mangione, the young Maryland man charged in Thompson's murder.
So, but it's all about oppression. It's all about the evil of capitalism. It's all about the colonialism. All these things are tied together, and there's a lot of groups out there, Act Blue, they're looking at. Are they taking money from terrorist groups? These are all being tied together. They're advertising in some places to get some people out there so they can protest some of this stuff. I still won't, man, we got to go do that. You'd go with me, Jeff. Like, Bell won't go with me. You'd go with me to protest some of these things just for fun. I want to go. I want to misclap.
Can we just get lawn chairs, have a couple of beers, and just people watch?
No, we're gonna stand there, right? But we're gonna have signs, and depending on who walks by, our signs will say different things on the other side. Right?
Can it be misspelled too?
Oh,
It can be totally out of just completely off topic. Or off topic, bring in and out now or something like that.
Yeah, I know. We're so oppressed. I'm so hungry. Who could go for a burrito? And when they're chanting, just start if they're clapping like this, just be off a little bit. Just to see what it's like, the craziness.
You guys are agitators.
We got to come up with our own chants, too. Try to get, some weird chant and see if people
European soccer chants that are just totally uncomfortable for everybody.
Off base, yeah. And completely off topic, I don't know, rooting for Manchester United to win their next game or something like that. It's are we not in the right place?
Am I in the wrong place? They start chanting about, free, what's his name? And you and I are down with big oil.
Yeah.
Wait, is this the wrong place? I knew it. And then
Snow White's going to be a great movie.
Wait, wrong. Flip the sign around.
Yes. Oh, no, I nudge you. No, Big Oil is Tuesday. Big Oil is
Tuesday. Oh,
we got the wrong date.
But it's all tied in. It's all about I guarantee you, a vast majority of these people that protest, the likes of Luigi, are also protesting this. They're down with the West. They're down with capitalism. They're down with Western colonialism. They're up with, the trans movement, up with all of this wackiness out there. It's all tied in together. And so much of it is, like I said, based in the West, based in capitalism, and based in whiteness. If the Jews didn't look white, because they get told, you're just white people, that's a big issue here. Because if this was Africa, and let's say, I don't know, there's still a civil war going on over there, and thousands of people are dying, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Because the liberals don't know what side to choose. Because it's not about the argument of right or wrong or this group or that group. For them, they see color and they see oppression. But, what side do I choose? Because they're also black or they're also black. It just... Good God. Reach out to us across all of our social media. We love hearing from every single one of you. We've got YouTube. We've got Twitch. We've got Twitter. What else do we have? Do we have anything else?
As you said, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and
Twitch.
We
Okay.
got them all, yeah.
All right, there you go. I just want to make sure. I keep thinking there was one more.
No, it's 4. It feels like we should have 5, but it's only 4.
Yeah. We're not on Rumble, which I find to be weird.
I think we're trying. I can't guarantee that. I think Dan said something about that.
Okay, we should totally be on Rumble.
Yeah. We should be on all of them.
Yeah, Pinterest.
Pinterest, definitely, man.
Absolutely. OnlyFans.
Right next to my bare foot.
That's it. You guys want
Ken's OnlyFans is our sponsor.
I might leave a little hair on my ankle.
That's it. Oh, my goodness.
We have reached the boiling point.
The boiling point. Ooh, I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, you hear that guy right there? His name's Jeff. He is in for Bell, whose head fell off again. So he's off for the next couple days.
He's trying to find it.
So we're here. He's going to be back, though, in a week and a half or so. A lot of stuff still to get to today. Some more wacky stuff, some more serious stuff. Because we can be serious here, too. But why? And the fear of flying is growing. which is not a shocker. We'll talk about that as well. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Omaha Steaks. You're going to love Omaha Steaks. Right now, 50% off site-wide. And so you go to omahasteaks.com and you're saying to yourself, man, 50% off. It is their semi-annual sale, but it gets better than that. When you use my code Benson, you get 30 extra bucks off at checkout. And Omaha Steaks delivers like nobody's business. You can get full steak packages, value assortments. They've got one of my favorite things to do is I love the pork chops. So when we go, we'll do a pick 7 where you can get all the pork, these pork chops, and it's incredible. But if you want fillets, if you want burgers, if you want surf and turf, they deliver it all for you. 50% off site-wide right now. 100% unconditional money-back guarantee, which means bite for bite. If you're not happy, you send them back. Who says, you know what, those bacon wrap filet mignons? No. Those air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, which we had last night, which were incredible. No, they're amazing. You're going to love these. 50% off site-wide, omahasteaks.com. Use my code Benson. Get an extra $30 off. omahasteaks.com. Use code Benson.
All right, drivers, we still have Whites Creek Pike shut down in Jolton, just north of Jackman Road, for that fatal crash and diesel spill cleanup. We've got a crash 65 southbound near Trinity Lane, also downtown going eastbound on the East Loop. And this new NATO Secretary General seems to agree with everything President Trump wants to do. We'll tell you about it at 1:30. Let you hear from him coming up on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The judge says that they didn't follow the proper process, that they've unlawfully terminated these workers because they've said that this was for performance reasons. He said that in a lot of cases, they were not terminated for performance reasons, that they didn't follow the process established in federal law.
One of the things I said when Elon came and said, I want to do this, is the bureaucracy of government is massive. So is the lobbyists, and the fact that they have worked themselves into positions of power with the bureaucracy that are protected by laws. And not the normal laws that you and I and everybody else has of discrimination stuff. Laws that lock them in such a way that chipping away at this bureaucracy is going to be much tougher than people realize.
The judge said that the government used, quote, lies and gimmicks to unlawfully terminate these workers. He's ordered them immediately reinstated. It will be a bit of a process. How this happens, if they're walking into their buildings today, is a bit unclear. But the judge has ordered these government agencies to essentially produce a report.
Produce a report? What would that report be? Every once in a while, can you produce something that says, hey, this is what we do? This is what we did? I think that's all people want. Want to feel like that, you know what? If you really, you're working for America, great. The fact that you're offended by an email of what did you do last week, I think really, they did not do themselves any good in this battle so far. They haven't. And the thought of a shutdown, which is, I think, very real possibility, is potentially a coup for Donald Trump and the Republicans, because what are you guys going to do? Well, if Trump wants to keep the essential stuff's going to stay open. We already know that. But if Trump wants to keep certain things where the public has access to the state parks and things like that, he keeps that open. That's great. And if just portions of the essential stay open and everything runs smooth, it does you more harm than good if you stay out. Going, well, the government shut down, but nobody really felt it. And there's a lot of Democrats out there who are a little wary of that and don't want to be seen as, hey, you know what, if we do this, we're just as guilty as them.
Democrats are going to have the choice to vote for whether you want the cloture or the final one, and if you refuse to or you withhold your vote, you're voting about shutting the government down. And so that's always been my point. Now, it's a CR that we all agree we don't like, and we don't co-sign on all of those elements. But for me, it's about we can't ever allow the government to shut down.
Well, we're going to find out if that happens. It's going to be very interesting to see because now it's really up to Schumer. They need 7 Democrats. Rand Paul was always going to be a no. He's kind of just like Massey. He's a no. Wasn't going to happen. So very interesting when you look at this, just because normally I don't care about this stuff, but the thought of letting it shut down and seeing if they can run on a skeleton crew and everything goes semi-smooth, I mean, there's only so much you can be able to do. That to me is interesting, because then what? If you're saying I'm essential, you need to have me, and things are going okay, that's a tough thing to come back from. What kind of weather are we going to have here tomorrow?
Well, we just got an update, Brother Chad. National Weather Service says we are still in a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather. This is mainly going to be everybody west of 65. Everybody east of 65 is a little lower risk. However, if storms do develop and they do go severe, that could include all the things. We're talking about damaging winds up to 80 mile per hour. More so if they spawn tornadoes, which we can't rule that out. Also, golf ball size hail.
Oh, my God.
So, folks like me who don't have garages,
well,
goodness, what am I going to do?
The weather just got nice. Can God just give us a break here?
My car's going to be dinged.
Oh,
we
my
got like
Lord.
2 days of golfing weather, and now this. Thanks, Ken.
I'm looking at, because it's supposed to get ugly.
Now, see, that's just tomorrow.
Yeah, I heard Saturday's supposed to be the day that stuff moves in, right?
Saturday is everybody's under the enhanced risk, 3 out of 5. And the timeline I'm seeing on that is noon to 8 p.m. Saturday.
All right, guys. Well, be prepared. We're going to be here for the whole thing, because that's what we do for you guys, because we love you guys. Who knows what we'll talk about coming up? I've got like 50 stories. We'll surprise you with one, including the craziness in New Jersey that I swear I thought this cannot be real. This cannot be a real story. I swore. It's got to be a joke. It's got to be. It's not. It's real, and it's insane. Talk about that, bunch of other stuff. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
$1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers, we've got Whites Creek, Pike, and Jolton shut down near Jackman Road. That's where the Highway Patrol working that semi crash that ended in a fiery explosion because of all the diesel fuel that spilled. And, of course, we've got a report of at least one person dying in that. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin today in Russia, discussing the U.S.-Ukraine proposal for a 30-day ceasefire. Marcus Moore, tell us.
Russian leader during a news conference, a joint news conference with Alexander Lukashenko, saying that he would support a ceasefire, but he said that there are nuances and that a 30-day ceasefire with Ukraine would come with questions about how that time period is used. He said that would Ukraine be using that time to regroup?
Meanwhile, at the White House, NATO Secretary General Mark Brute telling reporters Trump's the reason member states are increasing financial obligations, and Brute says they need to make more weapons.
We also discuss defense production because we need to produce more weaponry. We are not doing enough. And not in the US, not in Europe, and we are lacking behind when you compare to the Russians and the Chinese.
A federal judge appointed by President Clinton's blocking mass layoffs in the federal government. Catherine Folders is covering that.
The judge said that the government used, quote, lies and gimmicks to unlawfully terminate these workers. He's ordered them immediately reinstated. It will be a bit of a process. How this happens, if they're walking into their buildings today, is a bit unclear. But the judge has ordered these government agencies to essentially produce a report.
This is U.S. District Judge William Alsup. The order covers Department of Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, Defense, Energy, Interior, and Treasury. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Ready Retirement Ready Toolkit is ready for you from our friends over at Beacon Capital Management. Now, you're seeing what's going on in the marketplace. People feeling a little uncomfortable. They're wondering, okay, where do I go from here? Beacon wants to help you with that. They're local. They want you to come over, shake their hands, talk about it, especially if you're in retirement. People are nervous about that. So with the Retirement Ready Toolkit, let me tell you something. There's no cost. There's no obligation. There's no pressure with Beacon. You're going to get a Money Enough for Life book, a retirement planning checklist, and a Maximizing Your Retirement Income white paper. You deserve the confidence to know that you don't want to be in a position where things go south and you have to unretire, and that's what Beacon wants to make sure happens for you. Call them today to get your free Retirement Ready Toolkit, 615-488-9303. It's absolutely free, no obligation, no pressure, no cost. 615-488-9303. Or check them out online at askbeaconnow.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
People are asking the question, what the hell is Twitch? It's a place where people go play video games, and you watch them play video games. Is that the best way to describe? Well, that's what Twitch really started out as.
Yeah, that's what it's mainly for. People do other stuff on there. I've seen people, like, make art or, like, just make music, and people interact with them like that, but mainly video games.
What's it? I've been on there. I keep telling everybody, I just want to go on there and just play Atari games for everybody.
You would absolutely get viewers, no question.
Yeah, because I'm really good at Atari. I'm bad at other things, but I'm good at Atari.
My dad used to run an arcade back in the day. He managed one. And, like, when the Star Wars original game came out back then, he had a line about, like, a mile back of his, like, arcade. Like, back, like, that was the early 80s, late 70s, like, when video games weren't really good, I guess, looking.
What are you talking about, dude? They were awesome.
Let me tell you, here's another one, because as we were talking earlier, we got a lot of people that responded to our talk of, you will never know what it's like to own two keys for your car, one to open the trunk or your door, one to turn it on. Here's something else you'll never know. Where you put a quarter to find out who's next in the video game hierarchy.
Ah.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember that? Stacks of quarter. That's my quarter. That's my quarter. I'm next, playing Joust.
Yeah. How many times did you get into a fight?
Oh, yeah. Galga. Man, I wanted to be the guy walking around with the apron handing out the change of the little ching.
Exactly. Especially whenever, you had to get tokens. Remember when you had to get tokens?
That sucks. God, tokens were, because, you wanted your quarters, because I'm never changing my tokens in, so they sucked you in.
Yes, they did.
Oh, goodness me. I mean, and going up to the pizza shop or wherever that game was, they got the new Joust 2 or the new Galga Ms. Pac-Man. Oh,
Miss Pac-Man. I remember Miss Pac-Man. It was just Pac-Man, but she was pink. Had a little bow on her head.
Little bow. I love Ms. Pac-Man's great. I have actually back at our house in Arizona, we have a Ms. Pac-Man Galga game.
Like the full.
Yeah, we've got
standalone. Awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
so it's pretty cool. We when we came out here, we didn't bring it, but we're going to bring it. Soon. I love it. I love Galgo's always my favorite.
It was awesome. Yeah, that's the one where you kill like
the
hornets and butterflies and
then you can get like captured. Remember, it could capture you, take you up, and then if you shoot it down as your other guy comes, it comes to you, and all of a sudden you've doubled your.
You got two fighters, dude.
I was. You know what else I was great at?
What's that?
Centipede.
Oh,
you don't mess with me in Centipede. I'll take you on all day long. Now people are going, oh yeah, Pac-Man. You know what? The flat Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man at the pizza top.
Yeah.
Those are hard to get, by the way. Those ones, the originals, those are hard to the tabletop ones.
Yeah.
Oh, those are so awesome. Wizard of War and Gorf.
Wizards of War. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. God, there's so many. And then there would be other games that were like Galga, but it was called something else. And you're like, what? Galaga? Yeah, that's like it, but it's not. Or I love Mission. Was it the Mission Control game?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Missile.
Yeah.
Missile something.
Yeah. I was great at Joust, though. You don't want to mess with me at Joust.
I wasn't very good at Joust.
That was a tough one. That was a tough one. And then it got crazy, right? Because you had, what was it? They came out with like real fighting games.
Yes.
And you're like, whoa, this is big time, guys. This is big time.
Yeah, and that was before they showed blood.
Qbert, Tempest, Donkey Kong.
Kong, yeah.
Missile Command. Thank you very much, Trevor.
Missile Command. Yeah, I had that on my Atari. I had Space Invaders, Missile Command, Pitfall.
Oh, Pitfall.
Man, I never should have gotten rid of the things I've gotten rid of over the years. Yeah, Frogger. Yes, I had Frogger.
Look at everybody chiming in with Missile Command. It was great. And it's funny because Malof's chiming in. He goes, my dad used to have the back when stuff wasn't good. It was great for us, dude. It's all we had. We came from Pong.
That's right.
Boop.
The family has an arcade cabinet that has all these old games on it, like 100 of them. I played these.
Like Pong.
10-yard fight.
Do you realize what Pong was?
Yes,
Pong,
I know.
like as kids, we're like, it'll never get better than this.
Yeah, you had tennis.
Yeah. Oh, God, that was great. It was so awesome.
Especially doubles.
Oh, doubles was awesome. See, we live the dream here. Zaxxon, look at all you people.
Zaxxon.
Moon Patrol, Dig Dug.
Dig Dug.
Asteroids. Well, you can't. Asteroids was
yes,
just.
Yes, sir.
I love 1943. We're living the dream.
One.
Battle Zone, Missile Command, Gauntlet. Yeah, you guys get where you're going. Do I play Adventure on Atari? I did.
I did too.
Not as much. I did. You know what else I was really good at? Combat, because that was the game you got with Atari.
That's right. That came with it. Yeah, little square tanks.
Yes. When you look at it now, and you look at it, and you're like, is it out of focus? Are my eyes bad? So what's wrong? I feel like my eyes aren't very good. I thought it was a joke, guys. I'm going to tell you guys. I thought there's no way this is real. So it came out. My uncle sends me weird stuff all the time because he is a guy like that. He just sent me something here that made me laugh, and I'm like, he sends me wacky stuff. So he sends me this the other day, and I'm like, because he's very much. Oh, yeah, this has to be real. He likes, there's not a conspiracy theory that he doesn't believe at times. That's what I always joke about. So I'm like, all right, this can't be real. Sure enough, it is. So in New Jersey now, there is a questionnaire they are handing out to parents of kids who are just born. So you're in the hospital. You're just born, and you're little, and you're sitting there, and you're holding your baby, and they give you this questionnaire, and you're like, "What the hell is this questionnaire all about?" Well, this questionnaire is about sexual orientation of your baby.
Wow!
It says at Inspira Health, our mission is to provide a safe and compassionate blah blah blah. So it says patient's name, newborn. So you write down whatever your newborn's name is. The date of the birth of the child. Then it goes, what sex was your baby assigned at birth?
Excuse me?
Female, male, or prefer not to answer? No, it's not over. And now it gets weird. If you think that's weird, here we go, kids. Do you identify your baby as female, male, transgender female, trans woman, male to female?
Wow.
It's a child that was just born. This is insane. Transgender male, trans male, female to male. Genderqueer, neither exclusively male nor female, or additional gender category, self-described, please specify, or prefer not to answer. Which of the following best describes your baby? Lesbian or gay, straight or heterosexual, bisexual,
you see the baby?
Yeah, it's a baby.
The baby.
Yeah.
The thing that can't even walk yet.
Doesn't talk, doesn't do anything.
But knows their sexual attraction.
Questioning, unsure.
Yeah, that's all babies.
Interesting.
My baby is a baby. It doesn't know anything. It's just pooped once.
Yeah.
And it didn't know what that was.
It's just pooped once.
This is why. You want to know why Democrats you fail? That is something so stupid. Only a Democrat would be like, we got to get behind this. Right? We got this is great. And parents are apoplectic about it, as you should be. Even if you're like, I am totally this or I'm totally that, and they're not happy with this because it's a child. What do you want your child to be? Healthy. Leave me alone.
Yeah. None of your business.
None of your business. And I thought, because you and I both talk about this, Kent, I am never sure if anything's real.
Right.
And then I went, and sure enough, it's on a congressman who in New Jersey who's not like the only Democrat there, who's just like, are you kidding me? And now it's all over. And I think it's going to be, let's just say it's probably going to get a little bit bigger over the next couple of days because, and they're trying to, like, everybody's like, I'm not mad at the doctors. I'm not mad at the nurses. I'm mad that other people are forcing them to hand us this paperwork and say, you have to, like, how embarrassed would you be? Look.
Yeah.
Man, is your kid gay? What? Wait, what? My kid's 6 minutes old.
Right.
Yeah, wow. but is your kid gay? Or you prefer not to say?
Can you imagine a nurse saying that to you? It's like, how does your baby identify? It's like, excuse me? You're no longer touching my baby.
Yeah, no more. We have to leave now. You put, what is it? You assigned at birth, which is the dumbest thing in the world. A lot of people are chiming in, by the way. Our video game talk is quite popular. Let's see here.
The good old days, man.
720, Skate. That was a good one. Zelda. Zelda's a little bit, that's not our generation.
That's my generation.
That's your generation.
I have an N64 hooked up to my TV right now.
Star Fox, E.T.
Oh, Star Fox. E.T. is the worst game ever created.
That's what somebody just said. Was that you that texted in? It said
No.
E.T.'s the worst game ever created.
Do you know the story of that? It was so bad, Atari buried it in a crater in New Mexico.
Yeah, there was a documentary about it.
Yeah, they dug it up, and people grabbed it, and it's a huge collectible item now. It's like worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it is.
I'm a big, two things about me. I'm a huge sports and gaming nerd and a pro wrestling nerd. I'm just a nerd.
Friday the 13th was also a game. You are a nerd.
Yes, it was a nerd. It was a game on the NES, on the original NES. They made a one on recently, but that one's not as good. The original one, that wasn't good either.
Yeah, the original ones. I know E.T. was like the worst game ever. It was like so bad. Like my uncle, for you guys I'll have him on soon. He is a big MAGA guy, but he's a computer nerd, was like employee number 6 at Blizzard Entertainment, World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo. Those are some of his creations. And we always joke about stuff but like this. But when he worked there, he said, let me tell you something. We cared about the audience. We had a game that we produced for a few years, cost us a lot of money. We never released it because we thought nobody's going to play it. It's not fun. It's not fun. I'm like, man, that's awesome. In today's world, we were just talking about, what was that, the woke Snow White. And they're going to release that. Well, they have no choice. But, oh, my Lord. It's just, E.T., good God, that was awful. There was so many games, though, that when you look back, that Qbert, like, I always think, too, whoever designed some of these games, like, they were on super drugs.
Yeah.
All right, check this out. It looks like a little thing that just did a whole bunch of cocaine. We're going to have it bounce around. Oh, my God. That's so awesome.
I miss those days, man.
Dragon's Lair. There we go. That's the win right there. Dragon's Lair was awesome. Diablo 2 is one of the greatest games ever. Yes, his story about, if you've ever seen, you played Diablo, haven't you?
I didn't play.
I have. I played the recent one that came out. I believe it was Diablo 4.
So Ethereal, the angel, the star of it, like this.
Yes.
So my uncle did that, and everybody always asks him when he goes.
What do you mean he did that?
That was his. That's his.
His
character.
artwork.
Yeah, that's all him.
Cool.
Oh my gosh.
So they ask him. Whenever he goes to these things, why does it have no face? And he says, "You guys really want to know?" Yeah. He goes, "We had to get the game out in an hour. That was it." And I just said, "I don't even know." So we decided to leave the face blank. We all kind of had a collective, and so that's how it came that way.
That's still. Does he get like royalties or anything for that?
Yeah, they did up until the point that it got bought out from Sony, whoever ended up buying Blizzard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then everything kind of went
So
sideways.
I know a guy. I know a guy that was he was CEO, or maybe he's the creator of the company that made the Spider-Man games that came out recently, and he sold it to Sony for like $5 to $10 million. Or no, I'm sorry, $50 to $100 million.
That's good money if you can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying. Trust us. We know we're playing the lottery every night. Coming up, Ken's got some good stuff. I'm sure we've got more on what's going on with NATO, because they seem to be pretty happy with the way that things are going with Trump, which you would think, what? Yeah, but they like the fact that maybe more money's coming in from not America. And we'll take some more of your text on what's the great video game of all time. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Lean. What is lean? Imagine the yo-yo dieting world that we all live on, and we have. You put on, 15, 20 pounds, you look up one day, got to lose the weight. You go and you lose the weight, and what ends up happening? You're very excited. You lost 20, 25 pounds. You're feeling good, and then you put on 30. You don't want that. Get off the yo-yo dieting, and you don't have to do it with prescriptions, and you don't have to do it with shots. Lean, it's natural, it's amazing. A few pills a day in the morning, I take it every single day. It's going to help curb your appetite, which is great. It's awesome. It's also going to help your blood sugar levels, and it's going to take that chunk, a little bit of that weight, that stuff you've got on you, turn it in to burn that fat and turn it into energy, which is what you want. Try Lean now. Get 20% off. You're going to absolutely see the difference and get off that yo-yo diet insanity. Go to takelean.com, use code Benson20, and save 20% right there. That is code Benson20 at takelean.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
All right, drivers, still closed due to a fatal crash, Whites Creek Pike, north of Jackman Road. We picked up a crash 65 southbound near Trinity Lane. And downtown, police still working one eastbound at the Shelby Avenue exit. And lots of breaking news right now. We got Vladimir Putin weighing in on the U.S.-Ukraine 30-day ceasefire offer. President Trump hosting the NATO Secretary General at the White House today. We'll let you hear what he said coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A lot of you chiming in about the video games. Okay, here's one. You wouldn't understand this, Jeff, but you will.
Try me.
I had a Pac-Man watch.
Oh.
Ooh. It was a real game. It was a real Pac-Man. I was like, I may have been the coolest kid in like 4th grade.
And it was the actual game?
It was the little game, yeah. I mean, it's all black and white, but still I was.
Yeah, you were top notch.
I was like, man, that guy, he's rolling deep with his Keds and his husky jeans.
Were you a Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man guy?
I like Ms. Pac-Man better, but they didn't make the Ms. Pac-Man watch yet.
No.
No.
And didn't make the watch.
You know, I mean, again, the only thing about Ms. Pac is it was the colors were a little different and she had a bow.
Yeah.
Pop quiz. What are the ghosts' names?
Stanky. I think one of them Stinky. Blinky.
I can't remember the name.
There's Blinky, right?
I'm sure there is.
One of them is Clyde. It was Bluey.
Blanky.
It was
Blinky?
something. It was all Y's, and then Clyde was the last. I can look.
Clyde.
It's a joke because they're all
Clyde.
Karate Kid.
That's pretty good. Oh,
here. Blinky was the red one.
Yeah,
Pinky was the pink one. Inky was the cyan one, and Clyde was the orange one.
The orange one. I do not remember the orange one.
I don't remember an orange one. Maybe there was.
Yeah, he had a blonde hair. Wore a suit. Great people.
Great people. Putting my name on it. You know what else you guys will never, well, some of you will remember, when you go into a place and you play a video game and you get into the top 10, you could put your initials in there.
That's right.
You just pointed at everyone going,
yeah, that's me right there.
You are all peasants.
I got 3 of the top 5 right there. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah.
You like apples or those apples?
Yeah, you guys have girlfriends. I got the high score.
That's right. I rode my my Skyway, my GT BMX bike there. I dazzled, is what I'm trying to say, kids.
I rode on my Razor scooter to the arcade.
That's the difference between us. We're cool and you're not.
Razor scooters are cool. Don't hate on the Razor scooters.
I had the most basic bicycle, but that thing was fast because it had 3 gears. And in 3rd gear, just one pump of the pedal, and I'm ahead of everybody.
Oh,
and then it was just sustained speed.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, it was an ugly bike, but man, I could go on it.
It was that's fantastic. I had a Skyway and I had GT, so it was pretty cool. I was pretty awesome. Could do some sweet tricks on that. Little bunny hop here. What? Look at me, kids. Watch out. What?
Yes. We were all dorks.
I had game, though, so everybody settled down. We didn't have cars yet. Coming up, everybody, we got Ken's News. We'll talk a little bit about Russia, talk some education as they freak out, what's going on with the protests. There's so much stuff that's probably more serious than this, but you know what? There's too much serious going on. Sometimes we need to laugh. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers, Whites Creek Pike and Jolton closed near Jackman Road where a semi crashed, burst into flames, diesel fuel spilled, and at least one person died. We are tracking the potential for severe weather 2 waves of severe weather starting overnight tomorrow. Tell you about it during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Lots of breaking news right now. Vladimir Putin agreeing that the fighting in Ukraine needs to end, but he indicates he's not going to sign anything. We're talking about that U.S.-Ukraine 30-day ceasefire until he says there is a plan for long-term peace and removal of what Putin says are the root causes of the fighting in Ukraine. President Trump hosting the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House today. Secretary Rutte telling reporters in the Oval Office Trump is to be commended for increasing member states' financial obligations. And
finally, Ukraine, you broke the deadlock. As you said, all the killing, the young people dying, cities getting destroyed. The fact that you did that you started the dialogue with the Russians and the successful talks in Saudi Arabia now with the Ukrainians. I really want to commend you for this. So, The Hague is my hometown. I love to host you there in the summer and work together to make sure that that will be a splash, a real success, projecting American power on the world stage.
Secretary Rutte also said NATO needs to start making more weapons to match Russia and China. Speaking of weapons, Poland has a big favor of the United States. It's asking
Poland's President Andrzej Duda asking the U.S. to transfer nuclear weapons to Polish territory as a deterrent against future Russian aggression, a request that is likely to be perceived as highly provocative in Moscow. Duda said he recently discussed the matter with Keith Kellogg, U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine, telling the Financial Times, quote, "I think it's not only that the time has come, but that it would be safer if those weapons were already here."
That's Ines de la Cuetara at the Foreign Desk. A federal judge today ordering the Trump administration to reinstate thousands of probationary employees who were fired last month from half a dozen federal agencies. President Clinton appointee, U.S. District Judge William Alsup, ordering the Trump administration reinstate those employees at Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, Defense, Energy, Interior, and Treasury. Now to the man in Connecticut who officials say intentionally set a fire so that he can be rescued from what he says was a life of captivity. Waterbury Police Chief Fernando Spagnolo describing what fire crews saw once they went inside the home.
Fire investigators quickly realized that there was a room in the house that appeared to have locks on it from the exterior portion of the house. They began to speak to the male victim, who disclosed that he was being held captive in the house for an extended period of time, approximately 20 years.
Now, the man weighed only 68 pounds, claims he was being held captive by his stepmother. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley. Get over there and see them. They're so awesome. Dr. Mitchell's the bomb. Ashley's great. They're going to take care of you. If your back hurts, you're like, God, I've tried everything. How about this? They got a deal. Okay, you ready for this? Because 47th president, celebrating the 47th president. This is awesome. It's a big 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. They're going to put together a plan for you. You're going to go in. They're going to treat you like you've never been treated. You're going to see technology combined with caring individuals who are going to help you get back to living your life. And there's creams, there's no magic, powders and stuff and did spy. It's about putting together a plan and using machines. They stretch. They get all this stuff. Is incredible, kids. And I've been there. And if your back doesn't work and everybody knows it, how bad is that? Man, it is bad. Don't let that happen to you. Get over to the Wellness Institute of Nashville right now. Tell them I sent you, okay? And they have my seal of approval. You will love what they do for you right now. 47% off. The Big 47 offer going on right now. Call 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or go to painisbad.com. Yeah. So much stuff to get to, although I was enjoying our talks of all things a little nostalgia. Some of you out there is like, you should talk just about politics. No, I don't think so. There's so many other things. Is that what you do with your life? I could never imagine that. I don't. All I want to do is talk politics. Ugh. No, it's weird. It's very weird.
Wait, so on my dates, I shouldn't talk about politics?
No, you totally should.
Okay.
Get it out of the way first.
I had to figure it was not a me problem. It has to be her. That's why I haven't gotten a second
get it
dates.
out of the way early. You wear your MAGA hat, right? Do that thing.
I have gold-plated Trump playing cards I bring to the table.
There you go. See, get it right out there in the open, right? And let it go from there.
I show her my dance, my Trump dance.
That's it, the Trump dance,
I
the
tan
whole
my
9
face
yards.
super orange.
Just get it out there, kids. Let it happen. And yes, there are things to talk about. Russia. That's one of the big things today. Will they, won't they? The possibility of it getting done is getting closer. There's no doubt about that. Heck, Leon Panetta even said earlier, look, there's no doubt that Trump has moved this thing in a place that Biden didn't and anybody else hasn't.
We're getting words that things are going okay in Russia, and it doesn't mean anything until we hear what the final outcome is. But they have very serious discussions going on right now with President Putin and others.
And Putin today was in his full fatigues, which I think is a way of saying this isn't going to be as easy as you think, which is fine. I don't expect it to be easy. And I'll tell you this. The person that is going to be the negotiator in chief in this situation isn't Donald Trump. He'll have the final say. But I will tell you, Steve Witkoff is the guy that is over there doing the negotiation. He is the guy that I think is the most important person in this situation as far as negotiations go. He's no nonsense. He is a guy that people respect. Once they meet him, they respect him. In the business world, he's super respected. And he's not a politician. He wants to get something done. Let's get it done. Now, do I think it's going to get done immediately? No, I think there's going to be all kinds of going back and forth. I think Putin is going to play games, and everybody's going to say, look, he's pulling one over on Trump. And it isn't – you've got to expect – nobody's going to take anything on the first, right? That you got to take this or else. It's not going to happen. And Trump realizes that. Just like he did with the likes of Zelensky. There'll be some give. There'll be some take. Land is obviously one of the big things they're talking about.
We've been discussing with Ukraine land and pieces of land that would be kept and lost and all of the other elements of a final agreement. There's a power plant involved, a very big power plant involved. Who's going to get the power plant and who's going to get this and that? And so, it's not an easy process.
No, you're ending a war. That's why it's a 30-day pause in the action. Because the who's going to get what is a big deal. And that includes us, by the way. Which is, something you're like, oh, really? Yeah, that includes us.
Hopefully they'll do the right thing. It's really humanity. We're talking about humanity. We're not talking about the money. But then you add the money to it. And, hundreds of billions of dollars is being spent and really wasted so unnecessarily. It should have never happened.
No, it shouldn't. But it did. And alas, we're here. And hopefully they can get past this. Hopefully cooler, calmer heads will prevail. Hopefully we'll see an end of this thing before summer rolls around, which would be an amazing thing. And, I just like with The border, I absolutely expected this to get done in some way, shape, or form. I did. Just like with the border. I expected the border to get fixed. Now, the immigration question and who's here and all those kind of things, that's a much more complex, much more time-consuming thing. But I expected this to get done. The question still remains, though, is what happens when it comes to the economy? Because we'd all be lying to ourselves, and we've talked about it all the time. It's still the economy, stupid. If the economy is not rolling the way that people want, people get angry. They get frustrated. New poll out about the economy. Oddly enough, Trump not doing as well on the economy, but he's doing well in other things, but there's nervousness out there.
President Trump's first 100 days in office, and there are new signs that his honeymoon with the American people on what has been his strongest issue may be over. Take a look at CNN's exclusive new poll. A majority of Americans, 56%, now say that they disapprove of Trump's handling of the economy. He's underwater on the issue that voters care about the most, the issue that got him elected.
A little bit. And yes, it's biased. It's a CNN poll, but there's a lot of polls out there that are uncomfortable with this. If you're sitting good, yeah, you know what? Like, yeah, let's go long term. But we've talked about, your checking book has an expiration date as far as I can make it to here pretty good. And the new, the latest data out shows that a majority of Americans, 51% of their paycheck is spoken for before they ever get it. And if your paycheck is every 2 weeks, a majority of Americans, they go about 3 days without any money. And in many cases, they're paying bills late. So while they want all of this, and it's how does this affect me? Is that saying, many people have always used, I don't know. How does this affect me? It doesn't. Well, then I don't care. But if it affects you, you absolutely care. And the vision, the long term, we all love it, right? Let's hold some people's feet to the fire. I think at times I'm still trying to figure out the whole thing with Canada, but whatever. Europe, now he's talking about 200% tariffs on Europe. I don't even know who. Ken, do you know exactly who we're tariffing right at this moment?
Yeah, European wine and whiskey.
Okay.
That's because they apparently put a 50% tariff on our spirits. And so Trump came out today and said, well, I'll put 200% on yours.
Okay. Now, what about, so that's the wine and whiskey. What about aluminum and stuff? See, I don't even know who we're tariffing because at 1 minute to another, the whiplash is happening.
Right. I think he has put a tariff on all steel and aluminum, no matter who we get it from. I know that he after what's his name, Doug Ford in Ontario backed off of that electricity tariff, Trump brought the tariff on Canada's steel and aluminum back to 25%. But I'm pretty sure he's got it on the EU and China as well.
Okay. Yeah, see, I know the China thing, that battle goes on all day.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And I know Mexico, we've pushed out to the 2nd of April.
Right.
See, and 1 minute you're like, did we do that? We did. Okay. Oh, no, he called it off. Or there's a pause. And even there, and they readily admit, there's a lot of whiplash in some of this stuff. There is. There's a lot of ways. Some of you are chiming in. Trump's doing a great job on the economy. For some people, they're fine, right? I mean, there's a lot of people out there that the struggle's real. They can't afford anymore. And just as one person will say, Trump's doing the best job in the economy ever, I get 3 other people say, man, I can barely live on $50,000 a year in some of these places. After taxes and everything eats it up, it's a struggle for some people. So the economy will always be the lead story in any president in their world. Like long term, you may look back and go, like for me, I've always said, the Supreme Court is going to be one of his major legacies, if not the legacy. When you look out there and if we, the war and, because here's the thing about immigration as easy as we know, as easy as it happens, it can be undone, which is unfortunate unless they actually pass laws, which, as we all know, tends not to always happen the way that people think. But here's another thing. Trump's getting a better grades on other things that people, you would think, I didn't expect that. And that includes the way that he's handling immigration, which you expect, but that includes from Democrats that he's getting a better grade. And part of that is because it was such a lie. I can't do anything unless you guys pass a bill. I can't do anything unless you guys pass a bill. He talked about that today, about the numbers and the fake numbers that Biden had when it came to immigration.
They cheated on the numbers. The numbers were. I love that question. Who are you with?
Just the news, Amanda.
Very nice. That's good. That's good.
Do you know how many of those are criminal, illegal aliens?
Many of
Biden's
them.
out of office.
Yeah.
Alejandro Mayorkas.
No, Biden fudged the numbers. The numbers were totally fake. And he gave fake numbers. I knew they were fake. Everybody knew they were fake. But now it came out. And terrible what they did. That administration was a horror show for this country. It was a horror show. I mean, the Democrats, they don't even try to spin it like that. You know, they'll say, well, he got a great economy and now he's ruining it. I didn't say it was ruined. And there's going to be some uncomfortable times. I think we can all realize that. Like I said, everybody's got their own sell-by date when it comes to what they can afford and they can't afford. And that's what you're going to be judged on, whether people want to believe it or not. Presidents will be judged on everybody else's bank accounts. Meaning if wages are going up and you got confidence, that's great. For some people, this will work just fine. For other people, it won't. But the goal is, remember, it's always about the 80-20. And with the economy, you may not always get 80-20. But when it comes to immigration, Ukraine, these things, I like it. And definitely the Doge. Now, as we've seen today and heard, they've already lost in court. And you knew every one of these things is going to be challenged over and over and over and over again. And then you've got the potential shutdown coming tomorrow night, which, if I'm Trump, everybody's like, well, they're going to blame the Republicans. No, they're going to blame the Democrats. Maybe you sit back and go, let them shut it down. Let's see if we can run this on a skeleton crew. And let's see what that looks like. If we run, if the services at like the national parks and several other places are still rocking and rolling and the public side of that is okay, and the essential services, people still get their checks and that stuff, if that thing's okay, it's going to be hard for people to go justify that you need 12 people to file a piece of paper.
The Democratic leader.
Funding the government should be a bipartisan effort, but Republicans chose a partisan path, drafting their continuing resolution without any input from congressional Democrats. Because of that, Republicans do not have the votes in the Senate to invoke cloture on the House CR. Our caucus is unified on a clean April 11th CR that will keep the government open and give Congress time to negotiate bipartisan legislation that can pass.
We'll find out if that happens. Because realistically, we've already got a 1 no vote on the Republican side in the Senate. They're going to need at least 7 votes to the good from the Democrats. But I think there's some out there. We've already heard Fetterman and a few other ones who indicated, yeah, we're open to it. We'll find out how hard he's going to push it, because these politicians know one thing. I'm going to take the temperature of the room, and if it feels like there's energy to shut this thing down, then I'll do it. If it feels like I'm going to get the blame, then I'm going to fight really hard to get this thing over the line. Reach out to us across all of our social media. You can reach out to me at Chad Benson Show. Love hearing from each and every one of you. Love and hate. We'll take some of your texts. We got a bunch of other stuff to get to as well. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Go there now, get a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens for free. It is awesome. It's a great supplement for your dog that is going to give your dog a new lease on life, especially if your dog's a little bit older. Right now, they've got a 90-day challenge going on. So it's 1 scoop a day, right on top of your dog's food. That's it. They'll love the taste. and you'll love what it does for them. The 90-day challenge looks like this. First 30 days, shinier coat, more energy. Better immune system, more energy, and their joints, you're going to notice they're a lot more limber. That's by day 60. And when you get to day 90, their digestive tract is better. Their heart health is better. Their coat is not only shiny, it is full, and they're not shedding. It is incredible. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens. All they ask you to do is cover the cost of shipping. It is that simple. You can do this by going to roughgreens.com, using code CHAD. That's roughgreens.com. Use code CHAD to get a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens and take the 90-day challenge. If you love your dog, try this. Roughgreens.com. Use code CHAD.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
All right, drivers, Whites Creek, Pike, and Jolton still closed north of Jackman Road for the fatal crash. Police still reporting 65 southbound near Trinity Lane. A crash reported by police 24 eastbound after Shelby Avenue on the East Loop. Federal judge says give fired federal employees their jobs back. That story and more coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
This one's for you, Ken. Here we go.
You giving up your other stuff? I mean, how are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty.
Or, hear me out. Maybe you shouldn't have been a fucking schmutzy. Maybe you shouldn't try to cut Social Security. Maybe you should have just built better products. Nobody voted for you. Nobody likes you. Yeah. And
Who is that crazy lady?
Lady who's mad at Elon Musk.
Let me guess. Divorced multiple times, lives alone, has multiple pets, and no kids.
I'm going to tell you the truth. Smoking hot and young.
I don't believe you.
No, she is.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, she is. She's probably 25 at the most.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, if anyone dates her and finds that, they'd be like, I think we should see other people.
Yeah.
You're kind of psychotic.
Yeah. Well, she would never date. You're wearing a red hat right now, so
That's
there was
right,
no way.
dude.
My hat's just red. It says it's a golf
It doesn't
course.
matter. It's red. That is a symbolism of being a Nazi.
Oppression.
It's a color, you psychos.
Sorry, there's no
Not even
such
talking
thing.
about you.
I only see color all the time. I love you. I love when people say that. I don't see color. I'm like, really? Are you blind? Do you see color? Of course I see color. I'm not an idiot. I don't judge on color or live my life based on it, but I see it. Just like I see tall people, short people, fat people, midgets, all those stuff.
How many views has that gal
Millions.
garnered? So millions, yeah.
Most of them are people who, well, you know what? That's not true because you can go there and there's a lot of support for that. Those are the single cat ladies.
Right.
Yeah. Those are the ones. But yeah, she's got a lot. Again, if she was 400 pounds, nobody'd care.
No. They're not going to watch it.
No, but she's smoking hot. So people are like, okay, I'll listen to you.
Well, she'll probably end up like Madonna. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh my God, what happened to you?
Yeah, God only knows what. That was so weird. The whole thing with her arms, they got skinny and gross.
She looks like a cat.
She does. Well, she had that surgery, right?
Exactly.
Where they go in, they're like, I'd like to look like a Siamese cat. You're like, what?
Very disappointed in Madonna, man.
I am too.
She does not have to do all these stupid things. She's freaking Madonna.
Yeah. I mean, you used to be like...
She was it, man.
Yeah. Like with Grace, like age, like Helen Mirren. There may be no woman in entertainment, very few, like Dolly Parton, Helen Mirren, a few people that have aged with Grace.
Right.
And just accepted it and flowed into it. I watched, was it 1923?
Yeah.
I'm watching that. Oh, I love that show.
That's good.
But, man, Helen Mirren,
she's beautiful.
Yeah, and for those of you guys don't know, if you go back into the 70s and 80s, she was not just she was smoking hot.
Yeah.
She was.
Can't see it now. It's gone.
What's gone?
Just the attractiveness.
Of Helen Mirren?
Oh, I thought you were still talking about Madonna.
No, Madonna.
Sorry.
Madonna looks like somebody who wants to look like Madonna.
Sorry, I had PTSD from thinking about Madonna and blacked out for a second.
Yeah, she looks like somebody who used to be. They're like, you used to be Madonna.
You know what's funny? As soon as she said, "quote," I've thought about blowing up the White House, she just ugliness happened.
Yeah. Sometimes people say stuff like that. And
Isn't she dating like a 19-year-old or something?
I think she was.
Like, ugh.
I think she was.
She just got jealous. I mean, she just vanity, jealousy. She just let it take it over.
And she couldn't deal with the fact that she got older.
Right.
That she had a struggle with that. She had a struggle with getting older because there was other Madonnas that came behind her.
Yeah.
And she never found her place. She didn't do the Diana Ross thing where she became the queen.
Right.
Instead of the it thing. And instead she became she wanted to be that person that was like hanging out with the teenagers still.
Right.
Like a virgin. Lady, you're 70. If you're a virgin now, this is it. It's too late. Nobody's fixing this. She may not be 70.
No one's fixing this.
How old is she? I got to look that up.
All right. Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah.
She's kind of psycho, though.
Yeah, but she in her day, man.
Who?
They're making a Freaky
Jamie
Friday,
Lee.
too.
Yeah, they are.
Madonna is 66.
66.
Good Lord. She's almost presidential age.
She almost is. She's 66, though.
That's my joke now. Anyone that's not 70 plus, I'm like, oh, you're not presidential age yet, but you'll get there.
What if, if you go see her in concert, what is that like?
Who, Madonna?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if she plays like
dead cat noises,
Material Girl, and some of those older hits. I wonder if she still plays those.
I would hope so, right?
Me too, man, because that's what got her there.
I went and
Like a Prayer.
Mike Reno from Loverboy. I did it. We did this podcast thing together way back in the day, and he and I were talking, and he just got off tour at the time with Pat Benatar.
Awesome.
And he says, I go, so what's it like? He goes, dude, these people come to see us sing Everybody's Working for the Weekend and stuff like that, right? Pat Benatar's playing new stuff. Nobody here wants to hear your new album.
No.
That you and your husband put together.
No.
Right? Nobody wants to hear your new album. Go out, make your 15 or 20 grand for the night, sing, now she won't do one of her famous songs. I forgot. What's her?
Oh, gosh, she's got a lot.
The one that says, hit me with your best shot.
Hit me with your...
She won't do that anymore because of, it says shot in it.
Oh,
yeah. She's one of those loonies. Coming up, a lot of stuff still. Man, I got so much stuff right here. We're going to have fun. Aliens. Let's talk aliens.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because there's a new movie coming out, guys, and wait till you hear about this movie. This movie is supposed to be the movie that they've been working on for years, And the amount of people that are in it that are generals, and we're talking stars. We're talking people that were so high up that you can't even, that it's crazy. And all of them have been under oath about what's here. And now they just said, screw it, we're doing a movie about it. And it is coming out, looks crazy. We'll talk about that. Some other stuff straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Whites Creek Pike and Jolton still closed near Jackman Road, where that semi crashed and burst into flames due to all the diesel fuel that spilled. One person died. And we are tracking the potential for severe weather. Got 2 stages of it this weekend. We'll tell you more during the full forecast in 5 minutes. President Trump being forced to roll back some of those probationary workers' firings today by a Democratic federal judge in Northern California. Here's Devin Dwyer with more from the Capitol Hill.
Issued this order that they need to be reinstated effective immediately. It's not clear exactly how many because the government has not disclosed the figures of who they have fired exactly. The judge said really furious today at the government for what he said was a sham and a gimmick. He said it's a sad day when our government would fire some good employees and say it was based on performance when that was a lie.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says he agrees in principle with the U.S.-Ukraine 30-day ceasefire offer, but says he wants a long-term peace plan and removal of what Putin says are the root causes of the fighting in Ukraine. Meanwhile, President Trump hosting NATO's Secretary General at the White House today, and Poland is asking the U.S. for nuclear weapons. Over at the Pentagon, here's Luis Martinez.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered a department-wide review of standards, not just fitness standards, but grooming standards, body composition standards. And this is all because he says he wants to look at essentially whether the U.S. military is fit for duty, whether they will be able to meet the challenges of any adversary around the world.
And if you have ever driven a toll road and haven't received a text message from a toll road authority demanding payment of unpaid tolls, just give it time. Data compiled by cybersecurity company McAfee shows that Dallas leads the country in cities experiencing the highest percentage of text scams, followed by Atlanta, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Orlando. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Busy Bee. You need Busy Bee. You heard the storm coming in. You know what you need to do? You need to call 775-7833. Why? Because there could be some chaos this weekend. You never know. And you don't want to be waiting for somebody to show up. Busy Bee's going to show up because if you join the famous Beehive Club, they're going to put you at the top of the list when you call. It doesn't matter if it has to do with HVAC or plumbing. And maybe you need to start thinking, hey, our air conditioner, our heater barely made it through. Maybe it's time for a new HVAC. They can help you with that. Maybe you've got issues with your plumbing, and I'm not talking about, I need a new shower head. I'm talking about serious issues with slow drain. Maybe you got drips. You've got some serious problems, and you need somebody to come take a look. Busy Bee is there. Whether it's big or small, Busy Bee is there to help you. Call them today. Join the famous Beehive Club, 775-7833, 775-7833, or visit busybeehvac.com. Oh, I like that. Aliens. Aliens, I say.
Which ones?
These are the ones.
Those ones from space.
Space.
Okay.
New movie coming out. Age of Disclosure.
The American people are ready to receive the truth.
Humanity is not the only intelligence in the universe.
Humanity is not the only intelligent species.
We are absolutely not alone.
Non-human intelligence exists.
UAPs are real, they're here, and they're not human. I spent 25 years as a senior official with the CIA.
I worked on highly classified UAP programs.
28 years as an astrophysicist.
I served as the 4th Director of National Intelligence.
Director of Aviation Security in the National Security Council.
A one-star admiral after 32 years of service.
People that come forward with this, I feel like they've taken their life in their own hands.
Wait, was that? Yeah, that's old Tim Burchett there. He's all over this movie. But it's a lot of the other people that are in this movie talking about some of the things that the race that is on. Some of the stuff they talk about is the fact that it is a race. And we have fought for a very long time with other countries about what to do with some of these things. And other countries are going out there and they're developing as much as they can. It's about re-engineering some of the stuff they say they have.
I was recruited to a highly sensitive government program that investigated unidentified aerial phenomenon.
For over 16 years, on behalf of the U.S. government, I worked as a senior intelligence official on the unidentified aerial phenomenon topic.
We learned that the U.S. government was involved in a long-running secret war with other nations to collect and reverse engineer vehicles not made by humans.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
That's not alien ships. That's other craft. So this has every, you hear the Alonzos and everybody that's out there. We all hear about them. This is different. This has people in it that have never spoken before except behind closed doors. And a vast majority of these people have testified. And this is the way I always look at testifying. If you do it under oath, that's a much different thing. Because one thing government doesn't care for is you lying to them. They'll lie to you all day. But when you lie to them, they want to hold you accountable.
It's rotating. There's a whole fleet of them.
The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come.
China has established its own version of a UAP task force.
You think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
This is similar to the Manhattan Project. This is the atomic weapon on steroids.
This is so secret, very, very few people in our entire government have been allowed access to it.
Even presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis, but that begins to ramp out of control.
It's not acceptable to have secret parts of government that no one ever sees.
You better be careful about a government that doesn't trust its people, because there's no telling what they'll pull on you.
This is the biggest discovery in human history.
You had information being locked away that could change the trajectory for species.
It has so many beneficial impacts, including clean energy.
We should have disclosure today. We should have disclosure tomorrow. The time has come.
Yeah, baby. I'm ready for that. I do think I've never thought we were alone. I just thought, how could we be alone?
The universe is infinite. There has to be other life forms.
You would think, if it's infinite, and we can't even wrap our heads around it. And I also think we need to stop thinking about the singular universe, if that makes sense, because I think there are multiple universes. And I think when we see certain things, everybody always thinks people are it's too far to travel. In our mind and our understanding of stuff, it's too far to travel at a time that you would think. But if you have unlimited time, if you will, to travel, maybe it's not as far as you think if you're going through time in a way that we can't comprehend. So why wouldn't, like, of all the stuff, of all the conspiracies and all these things, of all the things I can get behind, I go, this one, more than anything else, as far as like, but what does that do for religion? That's always been the big thing. What's it do for religion? That's one of the big, like, because that's one of the things they talk about in this movie is, how much the Vatican knows. By the way, you need to learn something here, Jeff. You probably don't know this. Poping ain't easy.
Trademark?
Yeah, so that's Bell's thing. We always ask him how the Pope is, and he says poping ain't easy because the Pope's...
Do you think he's actually getting better, or they lying to us about it?
Probably. Well, he can be fine today, and he could get sick tonight and be on death's door. He's 88.
Absolutely.
So, God forbid he passes away. Do you think they'll put him on pieces of string? Like, hey, he's still around.
No,
Look at him.
no. There are people out there who are like, okay, it's my turn.
I'm next.
That's it. I need somebody to get the smoke ready.
Do they have just like a list, or is it like
no? It's
a series of
I want it. We're going to do that. We're putting together a game about poping. It's going to be just like
the Pope off, just a series of challenges.
It's like The Voice, right, where other people spin around.
No, like Fear Factor. Fear Factor.
No, it's going to be like The Voice because you're going to have to join a team because it's all very. And one of them, the one who tells us where the aliens are, is going to be because that's this thing. I'm telling you, they know stuff.
What if the popes, like the ones that want to be pope, get like 4 of their best people that have their backs and had like a basketball March Madness tournament? Winner becomes the pope.
Well, that's kind of like this. See, and the way we've put it too, because they vote on it, and Ken and I have talked about this because he watched, what's that movie, Conclave?
Yep.
Okay, so it's very much about poping, but the politics of poping.
Politicking.
And so there's lots of politics to go behind the poping. And, you've got that one guy that never wants to be pope, but he wants to find the power and consolidate it to get somebody elected because that way he has a lot of that power without any of the responsibility. Poping, baby, it ain't easy. It isn't. I could believe there's aliens, and I think that the church.
No, there's 100% aliens. Again, we talked about this. The universe is infinite. There has to be aliens. We cannot be the only life form in this universe. Impossible.
In this universe, and that's what I keep saying because the multiverse. Sometimes maybe they come through and they're like, "Oh my God, we're in the wrong place." I was supposed to go left. Sorry, guys.
I wish I could find myself in a different universe.
There's another universe where you're like, I'm super successful.
Yeah, exactly. I want to take over him. I want to grab him, pull him in here, and I'll go there.
And there's another universe where you're an Indian kid who's got leprosy. So make sure you go the right way.
He can do his own thing. He can do his own thing. I'm not going to mess with him.
You got a big.
He's got other things to worry about than the multiverse.
And you got a big glove with all the gemstones in it.
Oh yeah.
You mean the Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah.
God, I would kill for that thing.
The Infinite why? Oh, so you can push the.
So I can snap my finger for a wish. Well, it doesn't
for a wish. It's not the way it works. It's not a genie, dude.
No, that's what it is. You think about something and it happens. That's why you start. It's not just kills everyone or brings people back. It does anything you think of.
But you're not a genie. You're like with a wish. You got the whole thing. I'm gonna think on it. I'm gonna think on it.
You can in his mind he can think $1 million, snap his fingers, and $1 million comes to him. Like that's how it works.
This is the $1 million. All I need is $1 million today. Just snap my fingers. How many snaps do you get? Do you know? Is it unlimited?
Well, no, yes, because the reason. Okay, I'm nerding
let's nerd out here. This is why he's single, guys. Sit back and relax.
So when Thanos snapped, he purposely destroyed the stones. But when others have snapped, when Hulk snapped his fingers in the movie, it didn't destroy the stones. So in hindsight, if you don't think about destroying the stones, you can do it as much as you. If you have the ability to snap and not kill yourself, you can pull it off. You can do as many as you like.
Okay. I just want to make sure. And if you ever read the book, if you ever read the history of the whole thing with the genie and you rub the lamp, you don't get 3 wishes. It's unlimited. But they make it 3 because they're like, we won't, whatever reason they made it.
You can wish for. Can you wish for more wishes?
No, you can't wish for more wishes.
There's like,
can't.
Is it in? Whatever.
Yeah, genie's not going to go for that.
You have to be very specific about your wish.
Yes.
You can't say I want $1 million because it'll end up in someone else's hands, or it might just be a big pile of money in front of you. You don't know what to do with it. It could crush you.
Pennies.
It could be pennies. Absolutely correct. Or $1 bills.
What was that? There's a great television show out, if you guys would love to watch it. It's called What We Do in the Shadows. And it was originally it was a movie done by the guys, The Flight of the Condors. Those guys were hilarious. I always call him Tiki Tawara, but that's not his name. Taka Waititi stars in it and all those. So originally it's about that, but in the TV show is as funny as it. It's basically a documentary kind of thing where they follow them around. It's like The Office, but they're vampires, right? And one of the things that's hilarious in this is one of them gets a genie, but every time he asks the genie for something, if he's not specific, everything goes sideways. And you've got to be super, like he wants his wife to just lust after him, want him, and it's annoying. And after a while, it's just the most annoying thing in the world.
Yep.
Among other things that happen. It's incredible. It's funny. So now that we know that you're a nerd, and with the snap of your fingers, look at that. A lot of you are chiming in. The name of that movie is called The Age of Disclosure. What do you think, Ken? You think there's some out there?
You know what? I can't prove it, but
You
I'm
can't
not going to
disprove
say
it.
there's not. And I'm kind of like you guys. I mean, why wouldn't there be? You know, I'm just my question is, what are they waiting for? Like,
no, they've seen us and saw the what was the KFC thing with the 2 pieces of chicken that were bread, the sandwich. You know what I'm talking about? They saw that and were like, okay, this planet's done. We're going home.
but I have seen things that I cannot explain. It's like I've told people, and Chad, I'm pretty sure you will agree with me. You know, I lived 3 years in New Mexico.
Oh.
And if you ever have a chance to just go to the desert Southwest, I recommend everybody just drive out into the middle of a national forest somewhere, get as high as you can. I'm talking about a mountaintop. And watch the night sky.
Yes.
Just watch it.
It is.
There will be things
that you can't explain.
Exactly.
And you know, nowadays it's a little bit easier because it's just it's just a drone. Okay, well but what about 15, 20, 30 years ago?
Right.
Those are the things that's interesting. And with more and more people feeling like they can come forward and talk about it, I mean, if you go and you look and say to yourself, how did one day we just have math?
Yeah. Right.
Right? Like, how does that happen? Like, one day we got nothing, the next day, hey, here's math.
All of a sudden, here's math.
And those kind of things, I think, are interesting things. And it's asking those kind of questions, and I'm interested. And by the way, somebody said, I'll believe it when I see a UFO. Apparently in this is supposed to have the most definitive proof of something you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It'll be very interesting. Matt Murphy, I just saw him here dressed up again today.
Wow.
For me, I'm in shorts, which you failed, sir.
Yeah, I got to do that. Should have put my shorts on.
You went out for a walk in your shorts.
I didn't walk in my shorts.
And you didn't show up in them. We're going to wrap it up straight ahead. Matt's coming on in. We'll do that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Bulwark Capital. Next week at 5:30 our time, they're doing a free live webinar. It's amazing. It's about the first 100 days of Trump and what goes on there. And if you worry about not just your retirement, but your investments, how you want to get there. And many people, you hear all these things. It's always about a cookie cutter solution. They're not cookie cutter. They build something for you. They're going to show you what they're all about at Bulwark. It's risk management first, because as we always say, if you can't save your money, if you can't protect your money, you're not going to be able to grow your money. And it's lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility. It is a free live webinar. It is 5:30 next Thursday. I want you to jump on it. It's absolutely free. It takes about 45 minutes or so. My buddy Zach Abraham, great guy. I send my family there. I go there. He's going to treat you like nobody's business, and they're going to show you so much. Why don't you join up? Absolutely free, 45 minutes. It's just a webinar. You can ask any question you want. Go to knowyourriskradio.com. That's KNOW, yourriskradio.com to sign up today for Bulwark's live webinar next Thursday. That's the 20th at 5:30 our time. Knowyourriskradio.com. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involve risk, not a guarantee. Past performance not guarantee future results. Trek 25137. What's up? What's up? What's up? Matt's here. He's waving at a good friend in yours.
Hey.
When I got the email, that Headless Bell would not be here, and they did the rundown.
Yeah.
This is an admission. This is an official admission. And they give all the staff the rundown. Hey, this is what next week looks like. This is who's producing what, because Chris Webber's out, now Bell's out, and that's 2 producers out, and that causes freakouts and whatever. And they put on the list that Jeff would be your producer.
Yeah.
And I legit did not know who Jeff was. It's absolutely.
Because you're so used to KGB.
No, I was like, do they mean? Do they mean like Jack Womack? Well, who are they? I mean, I was legit. Like, I had no idea who they were talking about.
Is it just because you're used to calling me KGB?
It's because
KGB?
yes,
Yeah,
KGB.
that's it.
That's hilarious.
Or Malinoff. I mean, if I don't think KGB, I think your last
I don't think
name.
you've ever called me Jeff.
I don't think
always
I have.
called me Malinoff.
It feels
KGB.
weird now. It feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's weird.
So-
You're not a Jeff.
You're not a. Yeah, you're definitely not a Jeff.
No, you're like a Valug or some Russian crap. I don't know.
Valug.
I almost said Vladimir, but that was too
Vladimir. You're like Vladimir or maybe Ovechkin or Andreya or something like
Reznov.
that. Yes. What's going on in your world today?
It's beautiful outside. I don't know if you know.
It's
I mean,
gorgeous.
you've probably been in
It's
here
not
for a while.
going to be, but it is right now.
No. And what is up with that?
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Not on the weekend.
Not on the
man.
weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody works to the weekend.
Why can't it do that today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
While you're walking home.
I was okay with that. I'll survive.
Turn that on. It's nasty this weekend, but whatever.
It's going to be. It's going to be nasty on Saturday.
It's
I
groundhog
wanted
weather
to
today.
golf. I don't work. That's the only day I don't work. I work 6 days a week. My one day off, it's raining.
You've golfed with him. Is he any good?
Oh, Malinoff?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
he's not. I'm not good, and I beat him.
I'm getting better.
We're playing.
I know.
We're playing the sports guys.
I know.
They kick their asses.
I know.
I think after I played with you, I shot an 84.
I mean, that's fair, though, right, Malinoff?
No, I had a terrible game when I played
That's
with you.
fair. It's
I
fair
played
for me to
terrible.
say that my experience with Jeff Malinoff is no, he's not very good. I'm not very good. I'm not a good golfer.
I had a bad game. That's correct.
You were very frustrated.
I did break one of my clubs.
Did you break it?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I didn't think you broke the club.
I've broken a club or 2 or 5 or 12.
That's a nice course, though, man. You need to be nice to him.
I am nice to him.
Be nice to him.
I don't even make him answer a damn phone call, for God's sake.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Free beverages and food at the golf course.
That's the nicest course that I've been on in Nashville. And I don't know good people, don't get me wrong, so mostly I'm on public courses.
Yeah, you don't know good people. Most of the people I play with play in jeans, so I have no idea.
So this golf course there's no dress code, so you can literally wear whatever you want.
Well, it's a pretty cool atmosphere. It's a private club. What is it? Troubadour?
Troubadour, correct.
Troubadour.
Okay, I can't wait.
It's
Love
a
that
private club. I love the way you just did that.
I can't wait.
I can't wait.
This is awesome.
It's going to be so good
We're
when we go.
boys now.
Yeah, we're bros.
All right.
We'll see if Bell comes back.
Well,
maybe
we
he does,
need
maybe he doesn't.
We need a fourth.
Who cares?
We need a fourth to play.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we'll find somebody.
It's
I'll
a
come
party.
along, drink some beer.
There you go.
Dan?
You know what? We'll make him take a couple
I would love
swings.
to see Dan play golf. Ken's first. That's obvious.
Yeah,
but
obviously. Well, yeah, we want somebody fun.
yeah.
Wow. Speaking of fun, we're going to have some coming up at 3:00, whatever it is, on Super Talk 99. Yeah, we're going to have a little fun.
Matt's having fun. We had fun. We'll do it again tomorrow. You guys have a good one. Later.